Chapter 641, I'm an Accomplice. Temple of the Creator God. The Creator God was silently observing 5 nearly completed paintings among dozens of unfinished ones. In the first painting, the Creator God and the next Creator God were smiling as they played a puzzle game. In the second painting, the next Creator God was seen standing up and cheering after winning the puzzle game. On the chair where the next Creator God had been sitting, there was a puzzle piece. It was the missing puzzle piece that the Creator God had been searching for but couldn't find. The next Creator God had accidentally sat on it. In the third painting, the next Creator God belatedly discovered the puzzle piece and looked flustered. In the fourth painting, the frightened next Creator God was seen holding the puzzle piece while watching the Creator God from afar, unsure of what to do. In the fifth painting, the next Creator God, unable to confess the truth, ended up hiding the puzzle piece. So this was the reason. As the Creator God looked at the 5 paintings, he realized where the corruption of the next Creator God had begun. A single small puzzle piece that had been accidentally sat on, a very minor mistake. If only they had been honest, it would have been a trivial matter easily brushed off. But to the still young next Creator God, their mistake appeared too great. They lacked the courage to be honest and instead chose to hide it. And the guilt of hiding that mistake slowly consumed the next Creator God. Like rust eating away at iron, guilt devoured the next Creator God until it ultimately led to destruction. The reason for the destruction of hundreds of thousands of worlds was so insignificant, but that was how the world worked. Most worlds were destroyed for trivial reasons. The Creator God went to the place where the next Creator God had hidden the puzzle piece. And it's still here. He found the puzzle piece clumsily hidden between the pages of a book. As soon as the Creator God held the puzzle piece in his hand, it emitted a faint glow as if it had been waiting to be found, and then disappeared. And then, Chwarara. The beads shifted, and the 5th painting began to change. The next Creator God, with a fearful expression, was handing the puzzle piece to the Creator God, who was smiling and patting their head. A scene the next Creator God had once dreamed of, being forgiven by the Creator God, was completed. At the same time, a small knot buried deep within Destruction's heart unraveled. Outskirts of Destruction. Everything's fine. Pew hut, everything is fine, meow. Sejun and Theo, who had woken up early in the morning to check on the giant tier of destruction, confirmed that it was still there. After confirming this, HM. Sejun returned to the Black Tower, humming a tune as he prepared breakfast. Additionally, he made seaweed soup and choco pies for the dragons. Puahiti, it's Yangari chicken. Baby brother-in-law, isn't it cool? Yes, brother-in-law, you're the best. He even made Ace's favorite dish, earning himself some points after a long time. Aileen here. After sending food to Aileen, he gave choco pies to Pinkfur, who had brought Kyungi, and then enjoyed a delicious breakfast. Pip. I greet you, Sejun Nim. A messenger rabbit appeared before Sejun and bowed politely. What's the matter? Pip. I have brought a personal letter from King Hugh Walbach of the Red Ribbon Kingdom. The messenger rabbit respectfully handed over the letter with both front paws. Hugh Walbach, still feeling uneasy even after sending Bachai, had sent another messenger to Sejun. And Urin has entered the country. Sejun read through the letter. What? Urin showing up doesn't always mean bad news. He thought Hugh Walbach's worries were unfounded. But then, P.S. Uncle, I had a dream where I ate a whole rotten carrot. I'm so anxious. Please come quickly. What? Reading the last part of the letter, Sejun suddenly understood Black Rabbit's concern. Sejun knew very well what happened every time Hugh Walbach dreamt of eating a rotten carrot. From what Sejun remembered, Hugh Walbach had had several dreams about eating carrots, and every time something bad had happened. When Hugh Walbach dreamed of taking one bite of a rotten carrot, Sejun received Aileen's health soup, or when Sejun and Hugh Walbach moved to another floor alone because of a land deed. And when Hugh Walbach dreamt of eating 2 bites, Sejun almost died after being hit on the back of the head by Aileen's tail. When Hugh Walbach dreamt of eating 3 bites, one of the 5 immortals that Blackie couldn't digest, the indestructible gray stone lion, Rachnos, appeared and almost destroyed the Red Ribbon Kingdom. At first, Sejun hadn't believed it, but after several verifications, he was now completely convinced. Hugh Walbach's misfortune forecasts were more accurate than weather reports. Until now, Hugh Walbach had never dreamt of eating more than half of a rotten carrot. He ate the whole thing. This was a very serious situation. The misfortune forecast was predicting an unprecedented disaster. Guys, wake up. We're going to the 55th floor of the tower. With that, the Sejun family hurriedly descended to the 55th floor of the tower. Pew Hugh Hut, we're going to see Hugh Walbach meow. Kaiwat, 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 I can finally see Choo Choo again. Kueha Kuang. Hehe, I get to see Hugh Walbach Hyung again. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, I'll show Hugh Walbach Hyung how much Great Blackie has grown. Of course, except for Sejun, everyone else was carefree. 55th floor of the Black Tower. Yuehe, more food over here. Yuren was continuously ordering food. Though it was safe for 3 days, he had decided to leave tomorrow instead of the day after, just in case. So he was eating as much as he could before leaving. Pirorong. Piat had already filled his stomach long ago and was now sleeping. At that moment, Nim, the dishes you ordered have reached the amount covered by your payment. A staff member approached and informed him. Oh really? Then I'll use this cup, Kuyik. Upon hearing the staff member's words, Yuren picked up a cup and activated the talent, Midas Hand. SRRRK. The cup turned into gold. Here's the payment for the food. Also bring me 100 servings of this spaghetti. It's so delicious. Yuhiha. Yes, sir. Handing over the golden cup, Yuren ordered more food. And then, Moha, Yuren Nim's misfortune is getting even richer. Poyo licked Yuren's increasing misfortune, delighted as Yuren continued to use Midas Hand. But even Poyo couldn't sense or consume the misfortune accumulating inside Yuren. The anger of the talent, Midas Hand towards Yuren, who was defying his unfortunate fate. And the price of that anger was going to be paid with the world screams. Something ominous was engulfing the 55th floor of the tower, but no one noticed. Be Bayak. Lady Lara, let's eat something while keeping watch. Bache spoke to Lara, who was monitoring Yuren. Since they were at a nice restaurant, he wanted to enjoy a good meal and create a pleasant atmosphere with her. However, Peep-ip. Can't you see I'm on duty? If you want to eat so badly, do it alone. Lara's response was cold. Be Bayak. No, I just wanted to, with Lady Lara. Feeling embarrassed, Bache tried to explain himself. Then, crack. Suddenly, a monster's hand formed from all probabilities converging into misfortune. Beyond the broken space attacked Lara. Be Bayak. Where do you think you're going? How dare you touch my Lady Lara? Slash. Bache quickly wrapped his fingers with aura and severed the monster's hand. But the hands, the monsters, were not just one. Tens of thousands of creatures began pouring out from beyond the fractured space. Combat Shop Headquarters. This shouldn't be happening. The god of misfortune felt a sense of dread as she observed the misfortune accumulating around Yuren's dimension. The god of misfortune feeling ominous about misfortune, no joke could be more absurd. It was as if the god of joy found joy to be ominous, completely nonsensical. However, the emotions misfortune felt were reasonable and justified. Yuren's misfortune was not pure. The misfortune accumulating around Yuren was filled with a murky, primordial malice, deeper and more fundamental than mere killing intent or rage. It was a tainted misfortune. And then, it saw me. The corrupted misfortune was looking at misfortune, as if waiting for a moment. QA. You will. The misfortunes born from the worst probabilities all took different forms. However, Bibayak cut them down. // Before Bachai, the hero of Hamk, the one who wields 30 swords, they were all sliced apart just the same. But the sheer number of monsters was too great for 30 swords alone to handle, and eventually, the creatures began to break through the space. Pio. Messenger's Sprint. Kuyig Pink Crush. Sandstorm. Piat Urine and Poyo swiftly handled the invading monsters. Pip. Evacuate this way. Meanwhile, Lara guided the rabbits to safety. And, whoom, a dark crimson energy slowly seeped out from the corpses of the slain monsters, quietly gathering high in the sky. However, everyone was too focused on the battle to notice. 199. A short while later. Pipayak. Attack. Hugh Walbach arrived with reinforcements upon receiving the report, giving the front line some breathing room. At that moment, stumble. By sheer bad luck, a monster tripped, causing Bachai's sword strike to miss. At first, they thought it was just coincidence. But, Bibayak. It tripped again. Pipayak. Why am I suddenly slipping? Pio. There's a sudden headwind. Kuyik. Why is there a hole in the ground? As small misfortunes kept occurring to Bachai and the others, they realized something was wrong. On top of that, be careful, you all smell delicious. Poyo's crucial remark. This was no coincidence. Misfortune was slowly creeping over them. As a series of small misfortunes accumulated, gaps began to appear in their defensive line. Kuyek. One monster broke through the encirclement and charged toward the rabbits who had evacuated. Pipayak. No, stop it. While dealing with the monsters, Hugh Walbach shouted to his subordinates. Pip. The black rabbit subordinates quickly chased after the monster. Kyung. Dad is in danger. Thud. Kyungi threw a punch at the monster charging toward Sejun. Boom kaboom. The monster, struck by Kyungi's punch, tumbled backward and crashed into the hole where the monsters were emerging from. For a while the hole was blocked, preventing more creatures from coming out. What the hell is going on? Pew Hut, nice to see everyone, meow. Kaiwat, good to see you all. Kyung. Hello everyone. Meanwhile, Sejun and his group had arrived. Pipayak. It's fine now, we're saved. Hugh Walbach breathed a sigh of relief as he saw Theo clinging to Sejun's knee, Iona hanging onto Theo's tail, and Kyungi latched onto Sejun's side. It was the perfect dream team. Now, no matter what enemy came, there was no need to worry. Kilahit Kaying. Great Blackie has arrived. The Blackie family barked enthusiastically to assert their presence. But, Pipayak. Yes, the youngest is here. To Hugh Walbach, Blackie was just the youngest. With Sejun and his group joining the battle, the monsters were instantly pushed back, unable to even emerge from the spatial rift before being annihilated. No experience points. Sejun was disappointed as no message appeared. At that moment, meow. Theo looked up at the sky. Vice Chairman Theo, what's wrong? There's something in the sky, meow. An enemy. No, meow, it's something good, meow. Something good. Shuash. As Theo answered, he leaped into the sky. Breaking through the clouds, he discovered a massive, dark crimson sphere of condensed misfortune. Meow. Help our great hybrid Chairman Park, meow. Fyish. Burning money, his front paw gleamed brilliantly in golden light as he struck the sphere. Boom. The dark crimson sphere was engulfed in golden light and exploded. And then, no. The talent, Midas' hand, which had been controlling the sphere, was annihilated. The Black Tower's lucky legendary merchant, Park Theo, has accomplished a great achievement by destroying the talent. Midas' hand of the Black Tower's legendary merchant, Urine Demon. The Black Tower's lucky legendary merchant, Park Theo, has obtained title, Talent Slayer. You have obtained title, Talent Slayer's accomplice. I'm an accomplice. At the same time, Sejun unexpectedly gained a bizarre new title. Chapter 642, he was just unlucky. Title, Talent Slayer's accomplice. Whenever a talent steeped in evil karma is killed by title, Talent Slayer, all stats increase by 10, and if there are talents related to the killed talent, those talents are enhanced. If the talent is reformed, even more stats increase. Evil karma. Reformation. Is that even possible? Hell, you can't see or touch talent, so how do you kill it, and how do you reform it? Of course, this wasn't something Sejun needed to worry about. Hut, Great Hybrid Chairman Park Vice Chairman Theo, have taught that impudent fellow a lesson, meow. Because Theo would handle it. Yeah, good job. Hut, Vice Chairman Theo always do a good meow. Kaiwat, that's right, Theonim is good at everything. Hut. Theo, puffed up with pride from Sejun's praise, swelled even more at Yona's compliment. Vice Chairman Theo, what's the effect of the title you got? Hut. Every time I eliminate a talent, all stats increase by 1,000, and talents are enhanced, meow. Wow, this system bastard, and you called me an accomplice. Then why do I only get 10? System 371 had forcibly involved Sejun, who had nothing to do with this killing incident, just to give him some benefit, but Sejun had no way of knowing that. After cursing at the system, Sejun wondered. But what about Urine? That was tough. Sejun looked at Urine, who was flopped on the ground resting with pity. Originally, Urine's position was an unfortunate yet filthy rich pushover pig. But with both misfortune and money gone, he was now just a pushover pig. Was it lucky that money and pushover parts didn't disappear? Otherwise, he would have just been an unfortunate pig. Haha. As Sejun was pondering, unsure whether he was worried or just mocking him. Sejun spotted a pickpocket aiming for Urine's pocket amid the chaos. Even without the talent Midas' hand, Urine was still unlucky. At that moment, Sejun realized. Was misfortune just his default state? He had thought Urine was unlucky because of Midas' hand, but it turned out the talent was just an accessory. Urine had been born an unfortunate pig from the start. Thinking back, even before his talent awakened, no matter how gullible he was, he had fallen for way too many scams. He was just unlucky from the start. Now he couldn't even blame his talent, truly confirming him as the king of misfortune. Moihag delicious. As if proving Sejun's thoughts, Poyo was happily licking Urine. So nothing changed, huh? Still unlucky, still set to inherit the demon family's fortune, still a pushover. Urine, congratulations. When Sejun praised Urine for keeping his position. Thank you, but for what? Urine grinned brightly before tilting his head in confusion, wondering why he was being congratulated. It seemed he hadn't realized his talent was gone yet, not that it mattered whether he knew or not. It's just something. Okay. While Sejun and Urine were chatting. Pip. Let me go. Hut, just stay still and accept the stamp, meow. Theo had caught the pickpocket rabbit and was stamping it. Pipayak. Big brother, where did you catch that guy? Hugh Walbach, startled at the sight of the pickpocket, asked Theo. Hut, I caught it just now while it was picking Urine's pocket, meow. Pipayak. Big brother, hand that guy over to me. Lately, this punk has been causing trouble all over the Red Ribbon Kingdom. Hut, got it, meow. But now that it's an employee of Sejun Company, you can't kill it, meow. Pipayak. Understood. Also, if you take this to any of the three great associations, you can claim the bounty. Hugh Walbach handed over a certificate that could be exchanged for a 10 billion tower coin bounty. Theo and Urin made a great team. Everything was returning to its natural order. Wait. Everything except one thing. Sejun, noticing the strange atmosphere between Master Bo and Lara, looked on with discomfort. Arbache is the #1 member of the solo squad. He must protect the solo squad. To Sejun, this was going against the natural order. Pip. Bachanam, thank you for saving me. A moment ago, Lara, her heart shaken by Bache's overwhelming swordsmanship, blushed and expressed her gratitude to him. And then, Pipayak. Lady Lara, if you're that grateful, why don't you marry me? Bache seized the opportunity and proposed on the spot. Pip. You crazy. Soon the atmosphere shifted exactly as Sejun had hoped. Bache, with his 300-year-long solo life. It seemed he was still not ready for a warm spring breeze to blow into his life. A little while later. Well, we're busy, so we'll be going now. Sejun and his party headed to the 99th floor of the tower. Yuehe, then I'll go eat again. Urin was about to look for another restaurant, but Pio. Urinum, if you have any sense of shame, hurry up and let's leave now. Mohihehe, Urinum, even I think this isn't right. Dragged away by Piat and Poyo, Urin was forcibly deported. On the way to the waypoint. Next time, I should send Urin to places that don't listen. Sejun, realizing that Urin could be used as a strategic weapon, smirked wickedly. And then, Meow Chairman Park, your face is seriously rotting, Meow. Seeing Sejun's expression, Theo quickly pressed his paws on Sejun's face. Kuehe Kuang. Hehe, Kuangi will also keep Dad's face from rotting. Kilahit Kaying. He received Great Blackie's paws. Now Kuangi and Blackie, having come to see massaging Sejun's face as a game, also rushed in. Sejun quietly entrusted his face to his companions. His face was filled with the scent of their paws. You have arrived on the 99th floor of the Green Tower. Clang. As soon as they arrived on the first floor of the Green Tower, Sejun hurriedly opened his void storage. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, I missed you, meow. Theo sprang out and clung to Sejun's lap, activating his talent, energy absorber at full power. Kuang. Kaying. Sejun caught Kuangi and the Blackie family as they emerged. Since it's been a while, let's check how the shop is doing before we go. Pew Hut sounds good, meow. Sejun and his group headed toward the store operated by the Urarok tribe. And, well, they discovered an enormous shopping district. Dozens of buildings had been expanded on both sides of Sejun's original store, where the Urarok tribe was selling Sejun's crops. The crops had been sent as a bonus whenever Sejun shipped snacks to Ophelia via cash-on delivery, and Ophelia had delivered them to the first floor of the tower. The bosses of the tower's 99th, 98th, and 97th floors, Agni, Cerberus, and Egil, were still working there. Wait, are those guys getting paid? Come to think of it, Sejun had never mentioned paying those three. Vice Chairman Theo, do they get paid? Pew Hut, nope, meow. They didn't get stamped, so they're not official employees of Sejun Company, meow. Really? Still, they should get a salary. I'll have to tell Ophelia to pay them something. Oh. Just as Sejun was about to call Ophelia. Dad, Chairman Park is here. Vice Chairman Theo is here too. Children of the Urarok tribe, who had been playing around the shopping district, spotted Sejun and his group and quickly ran to inform their parents. Chairman Park, welcome. Vice Chairman Theo, welcome. The Urarok tribe members came rushing out to greet Sejun and his group. And then, Sejunim, I want to officially join Sejun Company as a full-time employee. Please hire me. I want to join too. Agni, Cerberus, and Egil hurriedly ran over and begged to be hired by Sejun Company. These days, all the hottest news in the Green Tower spread through the full-time employee network. So they wanted to become full-time employees and access the network conveniently. Kids, can you tell me what's going on the 78th floor of the tower? That's a hassle. Come on. You know that if you do good deeds, Santa Sejun will bring you presents later, right? We've already done a lot of good deeds, though. Awa, but the more good deeds you do, the better. I'll give you a roasted corn in exchange. They no longer wanted to be scolded by the Uraruk tribe children while trying to gather information. Pew Hu Hut, good meow. Talented individuals like you are always welcome, meow. Stamp, stamp, stamp. And just like that, the three bosses received Theo's stamp and officially became full-time employees of Sejun Company. Oh, so this is the full-time employee communication network. Ha ha ha, fellow full-time employees of the Green Tower, nice to meet you all. Ho ho ho, with this, I can get all the tower's information without lifting a finger. Now, they could freely use the full-time employee communication network and even receive a salary. A little while later. Well then, take care. After checking the store, Sejun moved to the designated passageway and placed his hand on the green hole. There are currently 2 available destinations. Please select your destination. Neta LV 4. Migros LV 6. 2 options appeared. Migros. When Sejun selected Migros, the system began calculating the stay cost. 31 trillion. It had increased a bit. The cost had gone up slightly from the expected 30 trillion, likely due to the growth of Sejun and his companions. Of course, Sejun wasn't worried about the cost since Brachio Iorg, the administrator of the Green Tower and the leader of the Great Green Dragons, had agreed to cover it, moving to Migros. Sejun and his group used the designated passageway to leave the tower. Temple of the Creator God. My second apostle Amur. Yes, Creator God. When will Sejun be arriving? The Creator God asked Amur. Amur had certainly given Sejun a portal scroll to travel here, but he still showed no signs of coming. Should I visit him again? Appearing in Sejun's dreams required a lot of energy, but there was no choice. This matter was far more urgent. I'm not sure. He should have arrived long ago. You didn't put any weird conditions on the portal scroll, did you? No way. I made it super easy. He only needs to have pure magic power over 50,000 to use it. Amur proudly declared, in response to the Creator God's question. What? You told Sejun to surpass 50,000 purely in magic power stat. No wonder he's not coming. Realizing why Sejun hadn't arrived, the Creator God's expression darkened. Amur, you need to get moving now. Huh, I didn't hear that properly. What do you mean you didn't hear? You heard me. Go to the land of destruction immediately. But I just went there yesterday. Go now. Yes. As a result, Amur crossed over to the land of destruction, receiving glares from Emila. 2 hours later. Huff huff. Ha ha. Covered in blood, the 2 of them staggered back, completely exhausted. You have arrived at Migros. As soon as Sejun arrived at Migros, he looked around. Huh? There's no ground. Sejun suddenly realized he was falling. Kyung. Of course, Kyungi quickly used psychokinesis to stop his fall. What is this place? Sejun looked around and saw massive whales swimming through the sky. This was a world with no land, only sky. Guys, let's find the calamities first. At Sejun's words, the group focused and began searching for the calamities. Kaiwat, I found it. Yona located the calamity's position. And then, Kaiwat, power of gravity meteor. She immediately dropped meteors, annihilating the calamities, over and over again. A short while later, all done. With Iona's meteor bombardment, the calamities of Migros were eradicated. Let's go now. Sejun was ready to leave right away. But, meow, Chairman Park, I really want to try eating a super gigantic grilled fish, meow. Theo, drooling, stared at the innocent sky whales. Well, considering their massive size, it was understandable why he was drooling. Sejun, understanding Theo's thoughts, still knew this wasn't right. Those creatures could talk, after all. Vice Chairman Theo, do you want a super gigantic grilled fish? Or do you want exclusive rights to my lap for a whole day? Sejun made him choose between the grilled fish and having exclusive lap privileges. Pew hut. Of course, I'll take the exclusive lap rights of great hybrid Chairman Park, meow. Theo gave up on the sky whale in exchange for a full day of exclusive lap privileges. Phew fud. Sejun couldn't help but feel a little proud of Theo's choice. Chapter 643. Ah, it was nice when Sejun number 2 was here. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Sizzle. Yongari chicken. Pip pip. It's delicious. Everything is delicious when Sejunum makes it. Sejun woke up early in the morning and was singing the Yongari chicken song with Peacebees while preparing breakfast. To prepare seaweed soup and choco pies for the dragons, he had to start early in the morning to ensure they could have breakfast on time. As they continued cooking while singing, the song gradually turned into a rap. Yo yo, fry the Yongari chicken in oil. Pip yo, the temperature is crucial when frying, preheating is a must, 180 degrees for 10 minutes. And don't forget, the spell that makes it delicious. The two, completely absorbed in their rap, passionately continued. Pip pip, ma up right arrow, key up right arrow, it up right arrow, del up right arrow, I say up right arrow, ooze up right arrow. The song ended with Peacebees hitting a 5-step high note. Hazeli. Pazeli. As they finished singing, both let out satisfied laughter. Thud thud. Pink Fur appeared carrying Kyungi in her mouth, making the ground tremble. Pink Fur, why are you here so early? Kyung. There's early morning training today. Here is Kyungi. Okay. When Sejun carefully took Kyungi. Kuying. Kyungi whimpered and buried his face in Sejun's embrace. Then, wriggling around, he clung to Sejun's side. Kurorong. Soon the sound of snoring could be heard. As Kyungi fell into a deep sleep again. Pink Fur here. Sejun filled Pink Fur's snack pouch with choco pies and handed it over. Kyung. Sejunum, thank you. Receiving the pouch full of choco pies, Pink Fur's face lit up with a broad smile. Kyung. Sejunum, I'll be going now. Okay, train well. Kyung. Of course. With a confident reply, Pink Fur left. Thanks to intense special training, Pink Fur's body now looked even bigger and more robust than before. At this rate, won't the gap between us widen? Seeing Pink Fur's growth, Sejun felt a sense of crisis. I have to grow too. He didn't expect to catch up, but hoped to maintain just enough of a gap to continue keeping up. A little later. Aileen here, and this is just for you. Sejun sent Aileen seaweed soup, choco pies, and a specially made chocolate cake meant only for her. 119:11. However, the tower's administrator says she is touched. Haha, no need to be so moved. The tower's administrator says she feel like she has been complacent lately. Huh, complacent in what way? Why does it suddenly feel chilly? The tower's administrator says she will make a dish to move you as well. The chocolate cake had unintentionally reignited Aileen's long-dormant passion for cooking. No, it's okay. I'm already moved just by Aileen eating the food I make. No, absolutely not. Aileen, please don't cook. Gods, please help keep Aileen away from the kitchen. Sejun desperately tried to persuade Aileen and prayed internally. The tower's administrator says she just had a stroke of inspiration. Sejun's prayers did not reach the gods. Even if they had, nothing would have changed. The tower's administrator says she might not respond for a while due to intense focus, so don't feel bad. Aileen. Sejun called out urgently, but there was no response. Aileen had already entered concentration mode. Ah, it's over. Sejun thought about fleeing to another world as soon as possible. However, None of the great dragons had yet managed to obtain the land deed for the first floor of the tower. A while later, Pew Hut, Chairman Park, I'll go make a lot of money, meow. Kyung. Kyungi will also go gather lots of herbs. Theo and Kyungi headed off to work. Blackie, let's go. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, all right. Sejun took Blackie with him and began his morning farming. For reference, Iona was sleeping in Sejun's bed, hugging a Theo ball. It had been a while since she had a break, so she would probably sleep for a few days. Sejun first harvested crops from the 99th floor farm of the tower. Summon door. Then he moved to the 10th tower. Clank. Opening his void storage, he positioned the Creator God's tablet so it could absorb the energy of creation. You're a field. Master has activated. You have planted a destruction pioneer seed into the body of Leviathan, the serpent that summons tsunamis and 12th seed of the apostles of destruction. Sejun planted the destruction pioneer and destruction devourer seeds. At that moment, I can't plant any more here. Sejun had an instant realization. Leviathan's body was nearing its limit. If he planted just a little more, Leviathan's life force would run out and it would disappear. However, I can't level up right now. Sejun was in a state where he couldn't level up. Even if he could, now was not the time. His job quest was almost complete, and using experience points on it would be a waste. I'll store this in the void storage for now. So he placed Leviathan's body in the void storage and retrieved Kraken's body from the 2nd floor of the tower. This is the last one. The good times are over. Sejun spoke in a regretful tone as he looked at Kraken's body. Even without the bodies of the apostles of destruction, he could still reap benefits, but it wouldn't be as sweet as this. Of course, Jormungandr's body was still available. However, it was too large and had to be used for travel, so he couldn't bring it to the 10th tower. Pug. Feeling reluctant, Sejun planted the seeds once more. Then, Blackie, let's go eat. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, got it. Guys, great boss Blackie is off to achieve another amazing feat. Returning to the Black Tower with Blackie, Sejun had lunch. Munch. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, butler, give me more roasted and dried sweet potatoes. Sure. When Sejun handed Blackie some roasted and dried sweet potatoes. Kilahit. Blackie slyly hid them under his belly, planning to smuggle them away and stash them in the food storage. Hey, I told you not to hoard food. Kaying. No. Of course, Sejun caught Blackie red-handed and confiscated them. Kaying. Give them back, you stingy butler. How could you take them away after giving them to me? Blackie whined and fussed at Sejun, trying to reclaim his sweet potatoes. You're calling me stingy, me, the great and generous Sejunum. Sejun growled back, unwilling to back down. On the surface, it looked like a squabble between a human and a dog, but in reality, it was a fight between a 27-year-old and a being that had stopped counting his age after 30,000 years. Whether seen outwardly or considered logically, it was equally ridiculous. Kaying. I hate you, butler. Chomp. In frustration, Blackie bit Sejun's shoe. Since it was made from golden dragon leather, it didn't tear, but Sejun could feel the pressure. Blackie, did you just bite my foot? Kaying. Yeah, now give me back my roasted and dried sweet potatoes. Blackie had a triumphant look on its face. HMPH, did you think I can't bite back? Chomp. Sejun bit down on Blackie's front paws, both of them, at the same time. Kaying. Let go. Nope. As the two continued bickering. Brother-in-law. Ace called out to Sejun. What's up, baby brother-in-law? Brother-in-law, we're running low on alcohol. Alcohol, the attribute-infused liquor. Yes. Since Sejun had been away from the tower frequently, he hadn't been brewing alcohol as often, and the remaining stock was running low. But why are you telling me this, baby brother-in-law? Said she's cooking and absolutely forbade me from disturbing her. So I had to handle the dragon market all by myself. Ace, unable to hold back his grievances, spilled everything to Sejun. Oh, got it. I'll talk to Aileen and make sure she doesn't leave the entire dragon market to you alone. Really, Puahiti, brother-in-law, thank you. Ace was thrilled that Sejun was willing to talk to his sister on his behalf. No, I should be the one thanking you. Sejun was grateful to Ace instead. Now he had a solid pretext to stop Aileen. Aileen, can we talk for a moment? He carefully called out to Aileen. The tower's administrator says she is on a break right now, so she is available. Sejun then subtly lectured her about responsibility, emphasizing, without being too direct, that she shouldn't leave the dragon market entirely to her younger brother. He had to be careful not to let the blame fall on Ace. The tower's administrator admits she hadn't thought it through and declares that from now on, she will become a responsible and great black dragon. No, it's not that you didn't think it through. Hehe, mission accomplished. Sejun felt relieved that his persuasion had worked. However, the tower's administrator says she will definitely take responsibility for cooking for you too. It seemed like his persuasion had only worked halfway. Still, I must have bought some time. Yeah, I must have. With that, Sejun ended his conversation with Aileen. Blackie, stay outside and play while you eat this. Kilahit kaying. He got it. Great, Blackie will play diligently. Sejun handed Blackie some roasted and dried sweet potatoes to keep him occupied outside, then headed to the brewery to start making alcohol. 5 hours later. It was nice when Sejun number 2 was around. After finishing the brewing, Sejun left the brewery, reminiscing about Sejun number 2, who used to brew alcohol on his behalf. At that moment, Puhu Hut, Chairman Park, I'm back, meow. Kyungi is back too. Theo and Kyungi ran into Sejun's arms, Theo snuggling his face against him, and Kyungi pressing against his chest. Meowa. You both did well. Sejun pulled Theo off his face and welcomed them warmly. Kilahit kaying. He, Butler, I played really hard. Blackie also ran toward Sejun, wagging his tail enthusiastically. Then, hub. Kaying. Butler, hurry and pick me up. Blackie jumped eagerly, demanding to be held, all covered in dirt. First, let's take a bath. Sejun made his decision after seeing the state Blackie was in. Kyung. It's bath time, exciting. Kyungi welcomed it. I understand, meow. Theo was indifferent, neither pleased nor displeased. Kaying. No way. Blackie was vehemently against it. All right, let's go. Kaying. Let me go. Of course, Blackie, the one with the biggest stake in the decision, had no choice in the matter. Splash. Sejun and his group soaked in hot water, enjoying a moment of relaxation before dinner. I don't feel like cooking dinner. Feeling drowsy from the warm bath, Sejun became reluctant to prepare dinner. Vice Chairman Theo asked Helnim if we can get some dragon fruit. Puhu Hut understood, meow. Hopping to create another Sejun number 2 to cook dinner for him, Sejun had Theo request dragon fruit. It was a casual request, something he wouldn't mind if it didn't work out. Helnim, please get me some dragon fruit. Meow. Sejun Company Vice Chairman Park Theo's designated quest has been generated. Designated target, Hell, the god of merchants. Manager, Hell's pawnshop, god of merchants, Hell. Oh yes. But both Theo and Hell were dead serious about it. Hell hurriedly rushed to the dragon god, Myrna. Myrna. Hell called out in front of Myrna's house. Hell. Myrna opened the door, puzzled by Hell's visit. Myrna, sell me some dragon fruit. What dragon fruit? Why do you need that? Myrna was baffled. Hell had no use for dragon fruit. Theo asked me to get some. Theo. That don't ask, don't question, just trust in Park's cat. Yes. Wait a moment. Myrna hurried inside, and the sound of things crashing around could be heard. Then, take them all. Panting heavily, Myrna rushed out and handed Hel all 5 dragon fruits she had prepared so far. It made perfect sense. To sell dragon fruit through the seed shop, one had to overcome incredibly low odds. However, if she went through Hel, success was guaranteed. Moreover, transcendent-grade seeds weren't just about selling. They offered much greater rewards upon germination. So, of course, giving them to Hel was the best choice. Huh. I'm getting all of these for free. Thanks to that, Hel received the dragon fruit without paying a single coin. She immediately tried to send the dragon fruit to Theo. To send 1 transcendent-grade seed, dragon fruit, 20 Sejun Company welfare points are required. Do you want to proceed? A message from System SJC popped up in front of Hel. No. That would be a loss every time I send one. Hel naturally refused. Then, a Divinity Promotion Quest has been generated. Divinity Promotion Quest. Send 100 Transcendent-grade seeds desired by Chairman Park of Sejun Company through the Sejun Company Seed Delivery Network. Reward. Promotion to the God of Legendary Merchants. 5% stake in the Sejun Company Seed Delivery Network. System SJC had presented Hel with a reward she absolutely could not refuse. Chapter 644. Sejun has made a mistake. Hel's Pawnshop. A quest reward that increases promots. Yuihehe. Hel grinned broadly as she checked the quest once more. And promotion in divinity meant a higher rank as a god, which in turn meant greater power. Just wait, Park Theo. Did you really dare to try and impeach me? Hel saw this as an opportunity to settle her disgrace. On top of that, there was a 5% share in the seed delivery network. This was a guaranteed success. 100%, no, 10,000%. Why? Because it was a seed delivery network operated by Don't Ask, Don't Question, Just Trust in Park. Non-combat gods would use it extensively. And if it became active the way Hel envisioned, she would be able to earn 5% of the usage fees every time other gods used the seed delivery network without doing anything herself. Of course, this was just the result of Hel's optimistic thinking. The system SJC that operated Sejun Company for Sejun's benefit would never do anything that could harm Sejun or Theo. On the contrary, it was increasing Hel's divinity to strengthen Theo's impeachment power. If Hel became the god of legendary merchants, more legendary merchants would be born, and Theo could have more of them under his command. And the 5% usage fee for the seed delivery network would never be paid unless Sejun, who held a 95% stake, permitted it. In short, there was nothing bad for Hel, but the rewards were overwhelmingly beneficial for Sejun and Theo. To achieve this, Hel had to complete the quest diligently. In other words, System SJC was using Hel, the god of merchants, as a workhorse. Yuhihehe. Once I become the god of legendary merchants, the first thing I'll do is impeach you, Park Theo. Completely unaware of this, Hel held onto her hopes once again. Here is a dragon fruit for you, sir. She considered using informal speech towards Theo, but hesitated a little. 20 Sejun Company welfare points have been used for the seed delivery network service. A transcendent grade seed, dragon fruit seed, has been sent to Vice Chairman Park Theo. Hel, the god of merchants, has received 5 welfare points as a quest completion reward. Thus, after sending a dragon fruit to Theo, I'll speak informally once I become the god of legendary merchants, Yuhihehe. Hel boasted confidently. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Pewhue Hut, Chairman Park, here it is, meow. Theo pulled out the dragon fruit he received from Hel and handed it to Sejun, who was the last to finish washing after the rest of the party. Oh, you really got a dragon fruit. Vice Chairman Theo, you're amazing. Pewhue Hut, that's right, meow. I Vice Chairman Theo am amazing, meow. Theo puffed up proudly at Sejun's words. Hehe, Vice Chairman Theo, it's your turn to suffer now. Oh my, our Vice Chairman Theo, your face looks rotten. Squish, squish. Sejun pressed Theo's face with his foot. It was payback for all the times Theo had pressed Sejun's face with his paw, saying it looked rotten. Then, meow, what are you doing, meow? Theo recoiled in horror and dodged Sejun's foot, escaping to Sejun's knee. Why, you always press my face with your paw, saying it looks rotten. That's completely different, meow. My front paws are clean because I take care of them with my tongue, meow. Can Chairman Park lick his feet with his tongue, meow? Sejun had no response to Theo's words, as he demonstrated by licking his own front paw. Sejun has made a mistake. Okay, I'm sorry. Acknowledging his mistake, Sejun apologized sincerely to Theo. A little while later. Rise, Sejun number 2. Sejun planted and sprouted the dragon fruit. And then, this time, Sejun number 2 replicated Sejun's skills in cooking and fermentation. Welcome, Sejun number 12. Haha, this is going to be so comfortable for a whole month. Sejun welcomed Sejun number 12 with open arms. The reason he was called Sejun number 12 instead of Sejun number 2 was that he could perform both cooking and brewing, the skills of Sejun number 1 and Sejun number 2. So he was simply given a name combining 1 and 2. Sejun number 12, go make dinner. Today's menu is Kyungi. What do you want to eat? Kyung. Kyungi wants banana milk after taking a bath and pizza for dinner. As expected, Kyungi knows how to eat. You heard that right. Please make banana milk and pizza. Nod. At Sejun's words, Sejun number 12 nodded and went into the kitchen. With nothing left to do, Sejun passed the time by harvesting peanuts from the peanut field in front of the house. Crunch, crunch, you have harvested 30 pods of magical peanuts. As he was absent-mindedly harvesting peanuts while waiting for dinner, you have harvested 37 pods of magical peanuts. You have harvested 1 pod of extreme cold peanuts. Extreme cold peanuts. Sejun noticed a different name in the list. Then, you have achieved the achievement of creating a new variety in the tower. You have obtained exclusive cultivation rights for the new variety in the tower. No one can cultivate extreme cold peanuts without your permission. Your job experience has significantly increased. Due to your job trait, all your stats have increased by 20. Sejun's 29th new crop variety had been born. Hehe, what a windfall. Sejun checked the options of the new crop that he happened to get while waiting for dinner with a pleased smile. Extreme cold peanuts. Peanuts grown in the Black Tower that possess strong cold energy. They are extremely cold. When consumed, magic power increases by 10, and there is a high chance of awakening the talent, cold resistance. If you already have cold resistance or a cold-related talent, it will be enhanced. Cultivator, Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 180 days. Grade S. O. Eating them could awaken the talent, cold resistance. Sejun wanted to eat one immediately, but to increase their numbers first, he carefully stored them in the pouch of abundance crafted with utmost sincerity. At that moment, ding, ding, ding. Sejun number 12 banged a frying pan with a ladle. It was the signal that dinner was ready. Guys, let's go. Sejun hurried into the kitchen with his companions. At the now empty spot, a tiny sprout timidly emerged from the ground, but no one was there to witness the moment. Or so it seemed. You're doing great, my child. Lee, the god of abundance, who had been anxiously waiting for the seed of abundance to sprout, cheered it on enthusiastically. Encouraged by Lee's cheers, the seed of abundance stretched and grew energetically. There wasn't much visible change, though. Haha, this is delicious. Pew hut, Chairman Park's churu is delicious, meow. Kueha kuang. Haha, banana milk and pizza are delicious too. Kilahit kayang. Hee, roasted and dried sweet potato is definitely the best, no matter what. A joyful dinner in the kitchen, while everyone was happily enjoying their meal. Flab flab. A brown dragon statue, controlled by Grave Renma, the leader of the great brown dragons, flew into the kitchen. And then, Sejun, I brought it, but you need to leave immediately. Handing over the land deed of the first floor of the brown tower, Grave urged Sejun. Is it that serious? Only 10 towers are left. This world was connected just a week ago. That meant 90 towers had disappeared in just 1 week. It wouldn't be surprising if the world collapsed at any moment. Understood, everyone get ready. We're leaving immediately. Sejun prepared to depart, and Theo quickly ran to Sejun's bed, picked up Iona and returned. Shortly after, you have arrived at the first floor of the brown tower. When Sejun arrived on the first floor of the tower, you have been recognized as the rightful owner of the first floor shop of the brown tower. Sejun was immediately acknowledged as the shop's owner. Oh, nothing happened this time. It was rare for things to go this smoothly, so Sejun found it surprising. Then, Kelkelkel, I tidied things up nicely for you, Sejun Nim. Auric, who had been waiting for Sejun after dealing with the thugs occupying the shop, sneered as he spoke. Oh, thanks. When Sejun thanked Auric, Kelkelkel, Grave Nim instructed me to assist Sejun Nim so you wouldn't face any inconvenience. Let's go. Auric took the lead. However, it was already inconvenient. Sejun was already uncomfortable just walking with Auric, because he had to keep listening to that creepy laughter. Thus, Sejun moved with Auric until they reached the private passageway. Kelkelkel, Sejun Nim, I also. No, it's fine, absolutely fine. Sejun quickly cut off Auric, who was trying to follow, and placed his hand on the brown portal. There are currently 2 available destinations. Please select your destination. Enos LV 3. Sec LV 9. A message appeared. Sec. As soon as Sejun spoke, the stay cost was quickly calculated, and he and his party vanished. Then you have arrived at Sec. Boom. The moment they arrived, a deafening explosion rang out. Kyung. Dad, Kyungi will cover your ears. Kyungi folded his ears and quickly clung to the back of Sejun's head, using his front paws to cover Sejun's ears. The rest of the party also folded their ears to block out the loud noise. Thanks to this, Sejun could peacefully observe the chaos around him as if he were wearing noise-canceling headphones. A battle between ogres and the residents of Sec, who had encased their bodies in rock armor. Rock fragments and shockwaves occasionally flew through the air, but meow. Kaiwat Kaiwat Kaiwat. Kyung. Theo, Iona, and Kyungi blocked everything, keeping Sejun and the Blackie family completely safe. The battle was evenly matched. Zering. Until the planet-destroying turtles appeared. Kyung. I am a sister-in-law, I'll block the sound for you. The moment the planet-destroying turtles appeared, Kyungi immediately entrusted Sejun to Iona and flew toward the turtles. Kaiwat Kaiwat Kaiwat. Yes, younger brother Kyungi. Hearing Kyungi call her sister-in-law, Iona grinned so widely her mouth nearly reached her ears as she cast protective magic over Sejun. The mighty force of gravity dropped the floating stones of the universe upon our enemies. Meteor shower. Attack was the best defense. Boom, boom, boom. Hundreds of meteors rained down upon the ogres. That's the legendary rock magic, Meteor Barrage. The residents of Sec, born with the ability to manipulate rocks, watched in awe as Iona's magic unfolded before them. A little while later, Kyungi brought the turtles. Kyungi returned, bringing 5 shrunken planet-destroying turtles. Bug. We pledge our loyalty. Bug. We will never betray you. The turtles quickly bowed before Sejun, flipping their comrades onto their backs to show their bellies. Since turtles couldn't flip themselves back over, showing their bellies was the ultimate sign of absolute submission. This was because, on the way over, Kyungi had told them to behave well in front of Sejun. Pew-hud. Stamp. Theo stamped his paw on the turtles' bellies as a seal of approval. With the situation somewhat settled, "Everyone, I'll help you, let's go." Sejun extracted the battle auras from the ogres' bodies. Meow. Kyung. Theo and Kyungi handled the cleanup. Then once again, without lifting a finger, you have conveniently received half the experience points from 100 ogres defeated by Black Tower's lucky legendary merchant Park Theo and advanced herbalist Park Kyungi. How impressive. You have acquired a total of 2.5 trillion experience points. A message appeared. "I did lift a finger this time." Sejun shouted in frustration. More than losing experience points, it was the system's sarcasm that truly infuriated him. At that moment, "Thank you for saving us." Dolius, the king of Sek, cautiously approached and bowed to Sejun in gratitude. Although Dolius could tell Sejun was the weakest among his party, he recognized from the atmosphere that Sejun was the leader. Thanks to this, Sejun's mood slightly improved. "No need, helping each other is what we do." Feigning coolness, Sejun accepted the king's gratitude. At the same time, he slightly shook his leg, signaling to Theo, who was clinging to his knee. "Pew Hut, if you're grateful, show some sincerity, meow." Theo did not disappoint Sejun, and voiced exactly what he wanted to say. "Of course, please wait a moment and we will express our sincerity." Dolius quickly rushed off to the castle with his subordinates. "Chairman Park, did I do well, meow?" Theo looked up at Sejun with expectant eyes. "Nod. As expected of my right-hand man." Sejun nodded in approval and patted Theo's head. "Pew Hut." Theo was satisfied with Sejun's praise and smiled. Chapter 645. Still, at least half of it should be mine, right? Avian. Now only 4 places left. Flamey number 202, possessing 0.4999% of Flamey's power, cheerfully spoke after transforming Avian, where the heat had disappeared thanks to Sejun's help, into a land overflowing with life. Thanks to this, the crops Sejun planted began growing rapidly and started to bloom. And, hurry up and grow strong to make our Sejunum an SS-rank tower farmer. On the 99th floor of the Black Tower, Flamey number 195, possessing 0.501% of Flamey's power, placed nutrients around the baby ginseng and baby extreme flame herb, cheering for their growth. Since the two were too young to consume the nutrients directly, they were instead absorbing energy from them indirectly. It was truly fortunate that they were bobbies. Otherwise, hurry up and eat. Yes. They would have suffered nutrient torture like pottery and sausage. But I became a dimensional tree, so why? Pottery asked in an aggrieved voice, thinking he no longer needed to consume nutrients. After all, only the tree of creation remained above dimensional tree. Be quiet, just eat. However, Pottery did not know that Flamey was eyeing him as a successor to the tree of creation for a speedy retirement. On the 99th floor of the Black Tower, where Sejun was absent. "Why are you eating so slowly? From now on, double your eating speed. If you don't eat properly, it won't be fun." Yes. Thanks to the tyrant Flamey number 195, not only pottery and sausage, but also all the other plants were disciplined and growing diligently. And when Sejun returned, he had the biggest harvest of all time. Sejunum, please accept this. It is the treasure of our D-Fight kingdom." King Dolius of D-Fight handed Sejun a stone ring along with an enormous amount of jewels. The stone ring had a rough surface, without a single jewel, looking truly crude. "Thank you." When Sejun expressed his gratitude and received the ring, his first thought was, "It's really heavy." For a ring, it was exceptionally weighty, around 100 kg. Though not particularly heavy for Sejun, he decided to check the ring's options first. Smetan stone ring. A ring left behind by Smetan, the founding king of the D-Fight kingdom and a transcendent rock mage. When equipped, magic power increases by 1,000. Usage restriction. Earth attribute affinity advanced level or higher. Creator, Transcendent Rock Mage Smetan. Grade SSS. This is a bit tricky. Sejun already had the lover's ring, amplification, that Aileen had made for him. Though he could wear more rings, it was cumbersome. That was why he had taken off his violet ring. Just then title, one who has gazed upon the primordial for a long time, activates, allowing you to perceive the essence of the item. When equipped, you can obtain the enlightenment left behind by Supreme Rock Mage Smetan. As Sejun's pupils glowed golden, the hidden option of the stone ring was revealed. Because you possess the talent, one who is favored by the earth, acquiring the enlightenment of the Transcendent Rock Mage Smetan will immediately bloom the talent, Transcendent Rock Mage. Simultaneously, System 371 advised Sejun on the outcome of wearing Smetan's ring. Is that so? Transcendent Class Rock Mage. Sejun did not know exactly what kind of talent it was, but he decided to awaken it anyway. Having more talents could never be a bad thing. Sejun put on the ring. Then, whoosh. The ring emitted a faint glow, and gray light was absorbed into Sejun's body. You have obtained the enlightenment of the founding king of Defight Kingdom, the Transcendent Rock Mage Smetan. Thanks to the synergy with your talent, one who is favored by the earth, you instantly comprehend the enlightenment. You have awakened the talent, Transcendent Rock Mage. At the same time, Sejun naturally understood how to manipulate rocks. A staircase. Rumble. A parasol. Rumble. A bed. Rumble. As Sejun used his magic power while thinking about what he wanted, the rocks moved exactly as he had imagined, materializing what was in his mind. Oh! As Sejun excitedly used his newly acquired ability. Oh, to use rocks so precisely. Could it be that you are a Transcendent Rock Mage? Yes. Even though he had only just become a Transcendent Rock Mage, Sejun shamelessly answered. Then was that meteor barrage from earlier. No, that was Iona's magic. When Sejun pointed at Iona. Kaiwat, Kaiwat, Kaiwat. Iona, who had been dozing off while clinging to Theo's tail, rubbed her eyes and displayed the dignity of a grand mage. SRRRK. Although her eyes kept closing, making it hard to properly demonstrate it. I see. Dolius looked disappointed at Sejun's response. He had wanted to witness the legendary rock magic, Meteor Barrage. Would you perhaps be able to use Meteor Barrage? So Dolius carefully requested it from Sejun, the Transcendent Rock Mage. Sure, let's give it a try, hiya. Sejun used his magic power while imagining giant meteors falling. And then, thud, thud, thud. Countless fist-sized rocks fell to the ground, not meteors, just plain stones. It wasn't Sejun's fault. Due to the common historical embellishments during a kingdom's founding, a non-existent fact had been created. Even Smetan himself had never known of any rock magic called Meteor Barrage. Thanks to Sejun, the history of the Defight Kingdom was corrected, but the legend of our kingdom was a lie. King Dolius of Defight did not seem pleased. Then shall we go deal with other calamities? Puhut sounds good, meow. Kuang. Kaying. Sejun quietly left the scene with his companions. 55th floor of the Black Tower. White Castle, the royal palace of the Red Ribbon Kingdom. Kayub. Lady Lara, please date me or marry me. Peep-ip, peep-ip, peep-ip. No way, can't you see I'm on duty? Get lost already. Bacha once again confessed to Lara today and was rejected. And Pipiakak. Bachanum, that makes it 100 confessions and 100 rejections. Hugh Walbach laughed from the throne, watching the scene. Lately, watching these two had become Hugh Walbach's source of entertainment. That's why he always assigned Lara's duty post near himself, to make sure he never missed Bachai's confessions. As Bachai failed his confession once more, he dejectedly walked over to Hugh Walbach. Bachanum, cheer up. Hugh Walbach encouraged Bachai. Pipayak. Bachanim, I was thinking, how about you become the training instructor for the Royal Guard? He suggested a new way for Bacha to get closer to Lara. Hugh Walbach genuinely wanted Bacha and Lara to end up together. He was just enjoying the hilariously entertaining process in between. Kayab, training instructor. Pipayak. Yes, if Bachanim becomes the Royal Guard's training instructor, Lara will naturally have to learn swordsmanship from you, so you'll get closer. Kayab. I'll do it. I'll be the training instructor. Bacha nodded, imagining a rosy future of sword training with Lara. A little while later, inside the palace training grounds. Pip. Allow me to introduce a specially appointed swordsmanship instructor. Following Hugh Walbach's instructions, Captain Coco of the Royal Guard brought Bachi in. Kayab. I am Bachi. Starting today, I will be teaching you swordsmanship. I need to show my gentle side and earn some points with Lara. Bache firmly resolved to impress Lara. However, Bache was too serious about swordsmanship to teach it half-heartedly. Kayab. Is that the best you can swing a sword? Perform 100,000 horizontal cuts now. Training quickly turned into a hellish ordeal, with the anguished screams of the Royal Guard echoing through the grounds. Kayab. Trainee Lara will do a special 200,000 swings, even while being kind and paying special attention to Lara. I was just about to go on a date with him next time he confessed because of his persistence, but... So you're making me suffer just because I rejected you. This is too much. Let's see if I ever accept your confession now. Because of Bachai's kindness, the door to Lara's heart, which had been about to open, slammed shut once again. Zek. Oh, I see some chicken meat over there. Let's catch it. Pew Hut got it, meow. Kaiwat, yes. Kyung. Kaying. Sejun and his party charged towards the locusts. Now, the only ones weak enough to be captured by the locusts were Kaying. Butler, I've been caught. Members of the Blackie family, who were being dragged away by the locusts. Shoes. Rumble. Sejun created stone shoes for Blackie's feet. Thud. As Blackie's weight increased, the locusts dropped him. Kaying. But in return, Blackie couldn't move either. Meanwhile, the party quickly took down the locusts and loaded them into the void storage. Blackie, are you okay? Sejun destroyed the stone shoes and checked on Blackie's body. Killahit Kaying. Great Blackie is sturdy, so I'm fine. Despite almost being taken away just moments ago, Blackie barked proudly. At that moment, Sejunum, may I eat that ring from earlier? Iamdal asked Sejun. The ring, this one. Sejun took out Smetan's stone ring. Yes. Iamdal nodded eagerly. From Sejun's perspective, he had already gained enlightenment from it and had no intention of wearing it, making it an unnecessary item. Sure here. When Sejun handed the stone ring to Iamdal. Crunch. Iamdal, who was about the same size as the ring, happily ate it, causing his magic power to increase significantly. Afterward, Uahaha, the second greatest Iamdal, will take care of this. With Iamdal leading the charge, the Blackie family easily defeated the petrifying spiders. Locusts, leeches, and fire moths were taken down with sheer force, while the petrifying spiders had a natural disadvantage against Iamdal since he was originally made of stone. Killahit Kaying. A victory for Great Blackie. With the Blackie family now helping eliminate calamities, the cleanup speed increased dramatically. It's done. Sejun and his party successfully exterminated all the calamities that had invaded Sek. Just then, Rumble. The alarm clock in Kyungi's stomach rang. It was the breakfast alarm. Before they knew it, they had stayed up all night and morning had come. Let's eat before we head back. Pew Hut sounds good, meow. Kaiwat. I like that idea too. Kyung. Kaying. Sejun started preparing breakfast. Stone plate. Rumble. Sejun created a smooth, polished stone plate and Kyungi fire. Kyung. Kyungi created flames and began heating the stone plate. Hezeli. Swish swish. Sejun poured sesame oil onto the heated stone and spread it around, seasoning the surface. Then, sizzle. To start the day strong, he grilled locusts, slime meat, and sausages. He also prepared grilled fish for Theo and roasted peanuts for Yona. Blackie waited in front of his food bowl, watching Sejun's cooking with anticipation. Kilahit Kaying. Hee butler, I'm waiting right here. Of course, he kept barking to make sure Sejun knew he was waiting. After preparing breakfast, Sejun and his party ate together. Kueha Kuang. Hey, Dad, drink this. And later Sejun enjoyed a brief moment of relaxation while drinking the morning coffee that Kyungi had brewed. At that moment, your job quest has been completed. As a reward for completing the job quest, level 171 has been unlocked. As a reward for completing the job quest, you have obtained 300 billion tower coins. As a reward for completing the job quest, all stats have increased by 1,000. Messages appeared before Sejun. That was faster than expected. Sejun was puzzled by how quickly the quest had been completed. But, now I can start gaining experience again. Excited that he no longer had to waste experience points, Sejun quickly forgot about it. Wait, now that I think about it, doesn't my pure magic power exceed 50,000? A thought suddenly occurred to him. Sejun's current magic power was 117,578. Still, at least half of it should be mine, right? Thinking the time had come, Sejun took out the portal scroll given to him by Amur, which had a family portrait drawn on the front. Now, can I finally call him out for not drawing my face properly? While preparing to confront Amur, Sejun infused magic power into the portal scroll. However, you do not meet the usage restriction of having at least 50,000 pure magic power. You are short by 3,427 pure magic power. You need to make further efforts. He was still lacking. System 371, ever so considerate, even informed him exactly how much magic power he was short by. Ah, this thing is messing with me again. Of course, that so-called consideration did not come across well to Sejun. After enduring so many unreasonable hardships, it was only natural for Sejun to misinterpret System 371's intentions. It was its own fault. Phew, but I still have 600 drops of the Great Growth Elixir left to drink. With a smug expression, Sejun took out the Great Growth Elixir. Meow, Chairman Park, your face is rotting, meow. Theo hurriedly started massaging Sejun's face. Kyung. Kaying. Kyungi and the Blackie family also pounced on Sejun's face. A little while later. All right, here we go. Gulp. Having received a thorough massage from his companions and become slightly more humble, Sejun drank the Great Growth Elixir, surpassing 50,000 pure magic power, and used the portal scroll. Chapter 646, The Beast of Apocalypse has awakened. You guys are seriously screwed now. Zek. When Sejun used the portal scroll. Kugugun. The ground suddenly moved, and an arched door made of white marble was formed. As he pulled the handle of the door, SRRRK. The door opened smoothly without resistance, revealing a rippling blue space. Is this where I'm supposed to go in? Step. Sejun stepped forward, without hesitation, into the blue space. Normally, cowardly Sejun wouldn't have been able to act so boldly, but the blue space strangely didn't feel scary, so he entered with peace of mind. As his body touched the blue space, you have entered the portal connected to the temple of the Creator God. A message appeared. Step. As he took 2 more steps, then a third, his vision turned white. Step. When he took the 4th step, the interior of a building gleaming brilliantly came into view, a completely different space. It was the temple of the Creator God. Th. As Sejun took his fifth step to fully enter the temple. And then, only then did Sejun notice the three people standing in front of the portal. One was a blonde woman, one was a man with blue hair, and the other one was. Just as Sejun was about to look at the third person's appearance, the orb of death's energy warns of imminent death. Ominous red letters appeared in front of Sejun. They looked even more foreboding in contrast to the blue space from earlier. But, thump. Sejun had already stepped out of the portal and entered the temple. Damn it! He felt a suffocatingly immense blue energy enveloping him and lost consciousness. Creator God's Temple. Wulong. As the portal began to open, Sejun is finally coming. The Creator God, along with the apostles of creation, Emila and Amur, rushed to stand in front of the portal to greet Sejun. In particular, Amur was very excited. Today, I'll finally get the youngest in line. Today, I'll finally be able to discipline the youngest. He hadn't heard from the Creator God who the third apostle of creation was, but he had heard that they were with Sejun. However, all 12 former apostles of destruction versus Amur. It was all too clear whose discipline was coming. At that moment, step, he's coming. The sound of footsteps echoed from beyond the portal. And then, thud. Sejun, Theo, Iona, Kyungi, and Peacepeace collapsed as they emerged from the portal. They couldn't withstand the overwhelming presence of the Creator God. They had suffered mental overload. Sejun. It was a mistake. In his excitement over Sejun's arrival, the Creator God had forgotten to suppress his energy, a huge blunder. Kaying. The Blackie family was unaffected. The apostles of creation were protected by blessings that allowed them to endure the Creator God's energy, and beings at the level of the apostles of destruction could certainly endure the Creator God's energy. They weren't called the 12 apostles of destruction for nothing. Then, swoosh. Theo, who had fainted, quietly got up and dragged Sejun, Iona, and Peacepeace back out of the portal. Due to the emergency, the supergiant Chairman Park No. 2 moved Theo's body in his place while he was unconscious. Swoosh. At the same time, Kyungi also got up. But instead of leaving through the portal, Kyungi toddled over to the Creator God and whack, Kyug, kicked the Creator God's shin with an annoyed expression. On top of that, hey, Creator God, pull yourself together. Kyungi even spoke informally to the Creator God. Emila and Amur were flustered at the sight. Kilahit Kaying. He, Kyungi Hyung, the Creator God made our butler faint, hit him more. The beast of apocalypse has awakened. You guys are seriously screwed now. Blackie tattled on the Creator God to Kyungi, or rather, the beast of apocalypse, and cheered him on. That's right. The being that had awakened was not Kyungi, but the beast of apocalypse. Enraged by the Creator God's ridiculous blunder, the beast of apocalypse had awakened. I'm sorry. The Creator God couldn't even meet the eyes of the beast of apocalypse and hurriedly apologized. The beast of apocalypse is a being that erases the world. It was of a higher rank than the Creator God and naturally far stronger, overwhelmingly so. How could the Creator God make such a ridiculous mistake? While the beast of apocalypse, in the form of the adorable Kyungi, was scolding the Creator God. Kaying, why didn't you two come greet me? Yeah, do you even know who this person is? Kurug. Sharalang. Blackie and his subordinate began to scold the two apostles of creation as well. Are you apostle of creation, Nim? Amur asked in a flustered voice. Due to the beast of apocalypse scolding the Creator God, he naturally spoke with honorifics. Kaying. That's right, Great Blackie is graciously serving as the third apostle of creation. That little runt so full of himself. Amur was offended watching Blackie act all high and mighty despite being weak himself, relying solely on the strength of his group. Of course, I look forward to working with you. So he lowered his body to meet Blackie's gaze, and while lightly touching Blackie's body, connected their mental worlds. I'll fix your attitude. It was to scold Blackie in the mental world, without the beast of apocalypse noticing. However, Amur should have thought this through. Why the beast of apocalypse merely shook his head and continued scolding the creator god when looking at Amur. Why, although Blackie was the only third apostle of creation, the others didn't faint. Why did looking at Blackie and his subordinates remind him of all the former apostles of destruction? Had he thought of that? Thud, thud. GRRR, so you're trying to be clever. He wouldn't have had to encounter the Blackie family in the mental world. A apostle of destruction. That's right, this body was once the noble wolf Fenrir who hunted gods. Of course, now I am the great Blackie, hee. Now preferring the name Blackie over Fenrir, Blackie said his name and laughed joyfully. What does that? While Amur was still stammering, unable to grasp the situation. Guys, teach him a lesson. Yes. The Blackie family kindly helped Amur understand. Thwack thwack. Arg. Body to body. When the head doesn't understand, learning through the body is also a good method. And so, after the Blackie family gave Amur a proper lesson. GRRR, by the way, who's Amur? Blackie asked Amur who Amur was, to hold him accountable for not properly painting Sejun's face in the family portrait. I am. Amur sensed danger but answered truthfully. If he lied and got caught, he'd only be beaten more. You're Amur, you dared leave out Sejun Nim. Ko. Kararer, enraged, pecked at Amur with his beak. Kwagwang. And the rest began to beat Amur again. GRRR, how dare you erase our butler from the family portrait? Kwagwang. This time, even Blackie joined in and personally struck him instead of leaving it to his subordinates. Because he had ruined a meaningful portrait of being with Sejun. And so Amur was beaten for a long time without knowing why. GRRR, complete the portrait properly, got it. Yes. After the discipline session ended, he exited the mental world. But who is Amur? There was someone else with a grudge against Amur. Having rushed over upon hearing the news of Sejun's collapse, Flamey was now looking for Amur. And so the mental discipline began once more. Creator God, you can't do that. Our Sejun Nim could have been in big trouble. Flamey scolded the Creator God with her main body. How could you exclude our most important Sejun Nim? Then it's not a family portrait at all. She was scolding Amur with her avatar, conducting a multi-target scolding session. Nod, nod. The beast of apocalypse and the Blackie family nodded their heads vigorously as they listened to Flamey's words, which were all correct. Sigh. Good thing I didn't do anything wrong to Sejun. Emila quietly sighed in relief from the corner. Until the portal closed, the Creator God and Amur were endlessly scolded without rest. It was truly a relief that the portal's duration was 24 hours. Let's stop here for today, be careful. Kaying. You all better watch out, especially you blue hair, I've got my eye on you. Right before the portal closed, the beast of apocalypse and the Blackie family exited through the portal. Be careful from now on. Flamey's main body also issued a warning as she left. Wulong. As the portal closed again. Hugh. Sigh. Sob. The temple of the Creator God, after the storm had passed, was filled with only sighs and the sounds of crying. However, what are you doing? Hurry up and build a room for the Creator God to stay in so Sejun Nim can come. Flamey No 205, which held 10% of Flamey's power, who hadn't left yet, urged them on. It was called a room, but in truth, it was a cell to confine the Creator God while Sejun stayed. Now, you must finish it within 100 days. Under the supervision of Flamey No 205, the Creator God and the two apostles of creation began their construction work. Zek. Lahi. Why am I lying down? Sejun, who had lost consciousness, woke up and looked around. And then, Gororong, Kirorong, Berorong, Kirorong. He saw his companion sleeping beside him. Squish, squish. Blank. For some reason, feeling strangely empty, Sejun spent some healing time absent-mindedly touching his companion's cheeks and bellies. I definitely lost consciousness the moment I crossed through the portal. He recalled the moment he had passed out. But why did I faint? Unable to figure out the reason, Sejun took out the portal scroll. Then, the picture. Sejun noticed that the family portrait on the front of the portal had changed. His own face had been clearly drawn in. Haha, whoever this is, he's really handsome. While praising his own appearance. Hello? The others are here too. He noticed that Bisugu, Siptiaku, and Kabolto, who weren't in the portrait before, had been added to the picture. Bisugu, Siptiaku, and Kabolto had scolded Amur, demanding that their images be drawn too, so Amur hastily filled them in. At last, the Sejun family's portrait was complete. I'm still sleepy, so I should sleep a little more. Just before lying down again. Chomp. Sejun put the world's energy into Blackie's mouth. He planned to help Blackie's atonement while he slept. Kivihit. Blackie smiled in his sleep, thinking whatever had entered his mouth was food. 99th floor of the Black Tower. A week had passed since returning from Sek to the Black Tower. All right. Now I finally feel refreshed. Sejun stretched his body widely as he got up in the morning. For several days, Sejun had been groaning due to the shock from the Creator God's energy. Originally, he could have recovered faster. But the tower's administrator says she worked hard to make it for you. The tower's administrator says she only put in good ingredients, so it must be good for your body. Yeah, thanks, I'll eat it well. Because he had eaten Aileen's cooking, his recovery took longer. His body may have recovered, but his mental state had taken a hit. This is all because of the Creator God. Sejun, who had heard through Blackie why he had fainted, blamed the Creator God. Thus, after a week, Sejun had fully recovered both physically and mentally. Meow. Kaying. Taking Theo and the Blackie family with him, he stepped outside and entered the cooking area. Pip Pip soaked the leech seaweed, stir-fry it with slime meat and garlic. From the shoulder of Sejun number 12, who was cooking, came Peacebee's cheerful voice, singing the seaweed soup song. It was truly fortunate that Sejun number 12 had been created before leaving for Sek. He could prepare meals in Sejun's place and listen to Peacebee's songs. At that moment, add some sesame oil too. Sejun chimed in unnecessarily, drastically lowering the quality of the song. Flap, flap. Pip, pip, Sejun Nim, you're awake. Peacebees flapped its wings happily and climbed into Sejun's hand, asking, Yeah, Peacebees, were you having fun? Pip, pip, yes. Sejun patted Peacebees' head as they chatted. Peacebees, who had been chatting with Sejun, began nodding off. Berorong. And soon fell completely asleep. Sejun continued to gently pat Peacebees' head, then placed him on his shoulder. SRRRK. Peacebees disguised himself and went into deep sleep. A little while later. All right, let's head out. After breakfast, Sejun and his group moved to the first floor of the Blue Tower. They had rested enough. It was time to get back to work. Land of destruction. Did they run away? Corruption, which had taken over nearly all of Destruction's body, spoke in a regretful tone, but its expression showed no regret at all. Rather, it looked delighted, because it had found a new source of entertainment. Kuhuhu, not that it matters. You can't leave this place either, just like me. Find them. At Corruption's command, the energy of destruction spread across the land like a pack of enraged hunting dogs. Chapter 647, Incredible Stomach. You have arrived on the first floor of the Blue Tower. Sejun arrived at the Blue Tower. Clank. He quickly opened the void storage. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, I missed you, meow. Theo, who had been waiting in front of the void storage door while making biscuits, jumped out quickly. Curorong. Yona was tied to his tail, sleeping soundly. If she was wrapped in Theo's fluffy tail, Iona could sleep well no matter the situation. Meow. As soon as Theo clung to Sejun's knee, he used the talent, energy drain at full power, and absorbed Sejun's energy. Kyung. Kaying. In the meantime, Kyungi and Blackie also ran out from the void storage and hugged Sejun. Good job. Sejun patted Theo's head and praised him. Pad. And also patted Kyungi's and Blackie's heads. Because if he didn't do this, they'd surely start bugging him to do it anyway. Then, Pew Hut, I'm good at everything, meow. Starting with Theo. Kyueha Kyung. Haha, Kyungi knows Kyungi is good at what he does. Kilahit Kaying. He, the great Blackie is invincible. Kyungi and Blackie also had proud expressions. Everyone's confidence was overflowing. They really don't know humility. And that was something Sejun just couldn't let slide. Haha, then I'll have to teach them some humility. With a mischievous grin, he began to stretch his companion's cheeks. Hazeli. Pew Hut. Kyueha. Kilahit. It didn't seem to have any effect in creating humility, but since everyone was satisfied, it was fine. Sejun, having satisfied his personal greed by playing with their cheeks. All right, let's go. As they entered the shopping district on the first floor of the tower to head toward the exclusive passage. Sejun Nim, hello. Someone greeted Sejun. Ha, Tobas. It was Tobas the Empty-Handed, who had contributed greatly in Baccio, the legendary merchant of the Blue Tower, getting stamped. Tobas, what are you doing here? Ha, I'm a merchant, of course I'm doing business. Is that so? But for a merchant, there sure weren't many customers around. The area around Tobas's stall was deserted. Thinking he'd help out a little, Sejun looked over the goods Tobas was selling. However, how do you expect to sell this stuff? The stall was full of bananas, just on the verge of going bad. They were overripe because they hadn't been properly managed. There was a reason he was called Tobas the Empty-Handed. This won't do. Kyungi, take out some strawberries. Kyung. Sejun stepped up to help Tobas with his business. And then, Yona, please make some ice. Kaiwat, yes. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, what should I do, meow? Vice Chairman Theo, use your dragon claws to blend the strawberries, bananas, and ice together. Pew Hut, got it, meow. My dragon claws are super sharp, meow. I can blend it well, meow. Kyungi, peel the bananas, and Blackie, take off the strawberry tops. Kyung. Kaying. Sejun assigned tasks to his companions. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, it's all blended, meow. Okay, good job. Sejun, who hadn't done anything, received the strawberry banana juice that Theo had finely blended with his dragon claws. Gulp, and drank it. Wow, Kyungi, you try it too. Kyungi, who had been drooling ever since the delicious smell of blended strawberry and banana filled the air, quickly took the glass of juice and drank it. Kyung. It's sweet and tasty, Dad is a genius. Hazeli. Smiling at Kyungi's compliment, Sejun said, Tobas, sell this, you won't lose money that way. He suggested the strawberry banana juice business to Tobas. By making and selling strawberry banana juice, he could make use of the overly ripe bananas and earn some money too. Oh, you're helping me. No, we're just giving you the strawberries and ice, then we're leaving. Even though it might not seem like it, except for Sejun, everyone else was extremely high-level talent. Even if he sold a strawberry banana juice for 10,000 tower coins, it wouldn't cover their labor costs. In a way, the fact that Sejun had such talented individuals making strawberry banana juice meant he was basically living a life of extreme luxury. And just like that, Sejun helped Tobas the Empty-Handed be reborn as Tobas of strawberry banana juice. Well then, sell them well. Yes, thank you. After passing Tobaz's stall and browsing other shops. Oh, what's that? That looks interesting. What is this? He bought food to eat. After giving Tobaz the ice and strawberries, and teaching him the strawberry banana juice recipe along with a few precautions, it was suddenly nearing dinner time. This isn't because I want to eat. This is all for creating new recipes. There was the great justification of culinary research. Kyungi want to try it. Kyung. Kyungi want to eat it. And he had the perfect partner to eat with, so Sejun went around, trying almost every menu item being sold at the various shops. Oh, this is super tender. As he was eating at a restaurant like that, talent, bizarre cooking has been activated. You've got an incredible stomach. All stats have increased by 30. A message popped up in front of Sejun. Incredible stomach. It would have been better if he hadn't known what he was eating. Because of System 371, Sejun realized he had eaten something weird. Excuse me, what's this made of? Unable to hold back his curiosity, he called over a staff member and asked about the ingredients of the dish. Ah, that made from giant blue fly meat. What did you say? Fly, don't you know flies? Buzz, they fly like this. To Sejun's question, the staff kindly flapped both arms like wings and gave a very detailed explanation of what a fly was. Not a fly person, but an actual winged fly. Thanks to that, Sejun was even more shocked. When the image of a fly formed in his mind, he could no longer swallow the food. Nod. When Sejun nodded to signal the staff that he understood, the staff left the table. Tui Tui, Kyungi spit it out quickly. After hastily spitting out what was left in his mouth, Sejun quietly told Kyungi. He wanted to shout, "That's gross," but he couldn't interfere with someone's business. Kyung. Tui Tui. Kyungi also followed Sejun's words and spit out the food with a confused look. Then, sorry, we'll pay now. Sejun apologized to the staff, then quickly paid the bill and gathered his group to leave. There were a few moments where bizarre cooking activated, but overall it had been an enjoyable experience. Ah, that was a good meal. After eating until full and almost making it out of the shopping district. Thud. Didn't I tell you to stand properly? If I have to come back here again, you're dead meat. From the back alley came the sound of a beating and the typical threat line from some scary guys. Purg. That instantly caught the attention of Theo, the master of extortion. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, let's hurry over there, meow. All right. Sejun headed in the direction Theo pointed. Those guys. In Sejun's eyes, he saw the residents of the Level 3 world Risia, the frogs, cornered against a wall looking terrified. If we catch you making eye contact with us again, you're done for. Next time, we're feeding you poison first. Huge toads were threatening the frogs. And then, heck, everyone stop right there, meow. Upon seeing the scene, Theo shifted into stage 2 of angry hack mode. Risia was the world where Garon, the slave jewel frog of Theo, acted as guardian deity. Touching the residents of such a world meant touching the subordinates of Theo's slave. Broadly speaking, it meant offending Vice Chairman Theo of Sejun Company, which also meant offending Sejun Company, where Theo belonged. They disrespected our great hybrid Chairman Park, meow. That translated to, they looked down on Chairman Park. Kaiwo. Matching Theo's rage, Iona also backed him up with a Phase 4 Kaiwo of anger. A short while later, Pew Hud. Kaiwat. Stamp. While Theo stamped the backs of the unconscious giant toads. Are you okay? Yes, thank you. But who are those guys? Sejun asked the frogs about the identity of the toads. Those toads. The toads had come from the Level 6 world Vispo, which was newly connected to the Blue Tower, and as soon as they arrived, they started persecuting the frogs from Risia, looking down on them for being weaker. You'll be fine from now on. Sejun reassured the frogs. Sejun planned to visit Vispo and kindly have a talk with the toads. Just as the situation was settling down, you guys made a big mistake. One of the toads, the largest among them, came to his senses and shouted, "No way, he's not going to say something as cliché as 'Do you know who my dad is he?'" While Sejun was guessing the toad's next words. "Do you know who my dad is? He's the emperor of the Kerma Empire." Gatoma shouted the exact cliché line. In response, "Kuehe Kyung Kyung. Hehe, do you know who Kyungi's dad is? Kyungi's dad is Chairman Park Sejun of Sejun Company." Kyungi shot back with an equally cliché line. Finally bragged about dad. In a very proud voice. And then, KRR, why does this make my chest feel tight? Watching Kyungi, Sejun felt a strange sense of pride. That I'm cool, enough to be someone Kyungi brags about. While Sejun was basking in the happiness of being acknowledged by Kyungi. "Pew Hut, your dad's an emperor, meow." Theo asked Gatoma with a laugh. Thinking Theo was trying to suck up to him, Gatoma answered with a smile. "Kuahaha, that's right." Thunk. He was knocked out by Theo with a strike to the back of the head. It was just a confirmation procedure. "Pew Hut, Chairman Park, let's take this guy to his dad, meow." Theo excitedly told Sejun after knocking Gatoma unconscious. "Hehe, all right." Of course, Sejun was also excited. Not just a kingdom, but an empire. How much money must they have? Thanks to recent earnings, he had already filled 3,000 quadrillion of the 10,000 quadrillion tower coins needed to create a new world rule. "I need to fill this up quickly and save money to go home." Having found a new potential money source, Sejun left a note with Gatoma instructing him to wait in the empire and then headed toward the exclusive passage. Black Tower, 99th floor. Time to head out soon. It was almost time for Toryang's field trip. Buzz. Toryang Nim, have a safe trip. Sweetie saw off Toryang. "Okay, I'll be back. Moving to Tartarus, the prison of gods." Toryang headed off on his field trip to Tartarus. Meanwhile, as Toryang went on the field trip, Sejun's brewery. Sejun number 12 discovered that 1/4 of the brewery's alcohol had disappeared. Where did it go? Sejun number 12 tilted his head in confusion. But soon, as if nothing had happened, he resumed brewing. If it's gone, he'll just make more. A short while later. Tartarus. All right, bottoms up. Toryang was offering alcohol to the gods of Tartarus. It was Toryang who had taken the brewery's liquor. Of course, he had received permission from Sejun in advance. The reason he brought so much liquor was that Sejun's alcohol had the added effect of increasing divine power in the gods. "Ah, that's good. Toryang, where was I again in the story? You were saying you were looking for a place to hide the treasure after stealing it." "Ah, right, so where I hid the treasure is." It was perfect for digging up information, especially since the guards and prisoners of Tartarus hadn't had a drink in at least 10,000 years. Just a little alcohol made them spill their secrets freely while drunk. "Oh, really? Huh, your glass is empty, have some more." "That's amazing." Thanks to that, Toryang easily found out where treasures, divine relics, and rare items were located just by refilling their glasses and throwing in a few reactions. Better not forget this. Gotta remember it all and report it to Sejun Nim. Toryang worked hard to memorize everything he heard so he wouldn't forget. Chapter 648. Hehe. Vice Chairman Theo, aren't we being too conscientious? You have arrived at Vispo. Sejun arrived at the 6th level world Vispo through the exclusive passageway. Squelch, squelch. Sejun's eyes caught sight of the plump slimes moving around busily in search of their next prey. Haha, is it pork belly for breakfast today? While Sejun was deciding on the breakfast menu. SS up. Kyueha. Kyungi also drooled and laughed, and then. "Guys, let's catch them." Pew Hut got it, meow. Kyung. At Sejun's shout, Theo and Kyungi attacked the slimes. Kyurong. Yona was still sleeping, clinging to Theo's tail. The winning team, our team. Kilahit Kaying. Hee Hyungs, keep it up. Butler and Great Blackie are cheering for you. Sejun and the Blackie family, who could be eaten instead if they attacked the slimes, stayed behind and cheered with all their might. A moment later, the slimes were finally chopped, sizzle, and grilled deliciously on the stone plate. Kueha Kyung. Haha, it's delicious. Kyungi wrapped 5 pieces of meat at once and ate excitedly. Puhu Hut. As expected, Chairman Park's grilled fish is the best, meow. Kaiwat. The peanuts stir-fried by Sejun Nim are tasty too. Theo and Iona enjoyed the grilled fish and stir-fried peanuts Sejun had prepared. And then, Kilahit Kaying. Hee Butler, I want to eat more roasted and dried sweet potato. Blackie barked enthusiastically despite his belly being so bloated it was dragging on the ground. Then go run 10 laps around the area. Kilahit Kaying. Hee got it. Dedada. Blackie diligently ran around the surroundings. Not because he could exercise endlessly for roasted and dried sweet potato, but because, Blackie Nim, you're heavy. I think you need to go on a diet. Seriously. Sejun Nim, please notice. Sharalang. Ko. Pipiak. Mumu. Kabai, Karura, Shari, and Mubelchill lifted and carried Blackie, while Blackie only moved his legs as if he were running. Why isn't he losing weight when he's running so hard? Sejun, unaware of Blackie's trickery, found it strange and wrapped a Sam and put it in his mouth. Munch. Haha, so tasty. A smile naturally emerged. A little later, after finishing breakfast, slurp. Sejun drank the coffee brewed by Kyungi and checked the tower on her quest. Destruction's first calamity. Defeat 500 billion locusts, 131.2 billion 500 billion. Destruction's second calamity. Defeat 50 billion giant blood-sucking leeches, 2.5 billion 50 billion. Destruction's third calamity. Defeat 50 billion fire moths, 2.1 billion 50 billion. Destruction's fourth calamity. Defeat 50 billion petrifying spiders, 3.3 billion 50 billion. Destruction's fifth calamity. Defeat 100 million slimes, 134,500 million. Destruction's sixth calamity. Defeat 10,000 ogres, 121,100,000. Destruction's seventh calamity. Defeat 1,000 planet-destroying turtles, 15,100,000. Destruction's eighth calamity. Defeat 100 billion flesh-eaters, 60.7 billion 100 billion. Still a long way to go. The path of being a building owner was long and winding. For reference, during the 1-week break, Sejun had gone to find the ogre King Les, the boss of the 99th floor of the White Tower, and delivered the battle aura of 121 ogres, who were depending on his body, to Les. Sejun Nim, you finally reached the 3rd level of muscle strengthening technique. Les informed Sejun that his muscle strengthening technique had entered the 3rd level. Kyung. Then Kyungi can teach Dad the battle aura technique now. Kyungi, who had learned the battle aura techniques in advance for this day, tried to teach muscle amplification technique to Sejun, but Kyung. Do it like this. Like this. Kyung. No, not like that, like this. It was not easy for a genius to teach a slow learner. What was as easy as breathing to Kyungi was not so for Sejun. Like this. Kyung. Kyungi said it's like this. Dad, focus. Sejun continued to be scolded by Kyungi, losing his authority as a father. Les, help me. He sent a pleading look to Les. First, I'll teach you the basics of muscle amplification technique. With no choice, Les stepped up and taught Sejun the muscle amplification technique. Muscle amplification technique was a skill that used battle aura to amplify the body's muscles for a certain period and enlarge the body. At present, Sejun could enlarge his body size up to 3 times for 3 seconds. It was said that once the technique reached the 10th level, one could maintain a body enlarged up to 100 times for nearly a lifetime, but it didn't seem like something he'd need, because the clothes would tear if he got too big. Not knowing anything, he had used the muscle amplification technique and all his clothes tore apart, and he almost ended up doing a nude show in front of his group. It was a real relief that it was the White Tower, where Aileen couldn't see. Even just remembering it is embarrassing. Recalling that moment, Sejun shook his head to brush away the embarrassment. And then, I should get to work quickly. He hurriedly got up. When he checked how many calamities he needed to defeat to complete the quest, motivation surged within him. Guys, let's go. Hut sounds good, meow. Kyung. Kaying. Just like that, Sejun and his group hunted down other calamities while heading toward the capital of the Kerma Empire. Vatan, the capital of the Kerma Empire. What? My Gatoma went into the tower and got hit. Puntaro, the emperor of the Kerma Empire, asked in an angry voice. Dad, I even got stamped here. Gatoma showed the cat paw print stamped on his back. This is. Could it be? Puntaro quickly looked to Genjin, the chief court mage. You were right. It's not exactly the same, but it has the same effect as a brand of loyalty. How dare they stamp a brand of loyalty on my son? Thud. Unable to contain his fury, Puntaro stomped the floor hard at Genjin's answer. And they even said to prepare to welcome them in the imperial capital. Just how much are these bastards looking down on the Kerma Empire? Guards, find their location immediately. 1 hour after Puntaro's order for an official notice to go out to the city to report the whereabouts of Sejun and his group upon finding them. They're heading this way while defeating calamities. Reports started coming in about Sejun and his group's location. Since they caused such a ruckus while eliminating calamities, they couldn't help but stand out. Yes, currently they're about 20 kilometers from the capital. If we depart now, we can meet them within an hour. Good, assemble all soldiers in the capital and march out. Yes. There were even reports of calamities appearing nearby. Puntaro planned to capture Sejun and his group and also eliminate the calamities. According to Gatoma, the number of enemies was 3. Gatoma didn't even consider the small Yona and the Blackie family as worth noticing. Rather than saying we deployed the army to catch 3 people, it sounds better to say we went to eliminate calamities and dealt with the 3 in the process. Puntaro created a solid justification for mobilizing his army. Moreover, Gatoma would surely admire me seeing how I command such a large force, right? Only by moving such a large army could he show his son how great he was. Thus, Puntaro led a massive force and, together with his son, moved toward the location of Sejun and his group, soon encountering them. Dad, it's those guys. Gatoma shouted upon spotting Sejun's family. All right, Dad will show them what punishment is. Prepare to attack. Yes. Atai. Just as Puntaro was about to command his soldiers to attack. Kaiwat, 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 power of gravity. A snow-white hamster, barely visible even with strained eyes, floated into the sky and then. Meteor. Cast a spell. Boom. An area nearly the size of the capital vanished, including the calamities Puntaro had planned to deal with after taking care of Sejun's group. And then, step, they approached them. Puntaro and his soldiers stood frozen until Sejun and his group arrived before them. Hut, I told you to wait and you came out to greet us, meow. That's a great attitude, meow. Press. Theo happily stamped them. Meanwhile, I'd like to see the treasure vault. Yes, please, this way. Sejun had Puntaro guide him to the treasure vault. And so, on the way back to the capital Vatan, escorted with the utmost care by Puntaro and the elite soldiers of the Kerma Empire. My dad lost, Dad's not the strongest. Gatoma, who witnessed Puntaro losing for the first time, became depressed from the great shock. At that moment, Tab, Kyung, that's only natural. Dads are supposed to be weak. Kyungi put his arm around Gatoma's shoulder in comfort. Dads are supposed to be weak. Kyung. That's right, dads should always be protected by their sons. Kyungi began gaslighting Gatoma. Kyung. First, you must always stay alert around Dad, and you must taste the food before Dad eats it. He could eat something dangerous. He earnestly taught Gatoma the sunfish dad protection method. I see now, Dad is someone who needs to be protected. And so Gatoma learned from Kyungi. Later on, he would be praised as the most filial son in the history of the Kerma Empire. While Sejun and his group were heading to vatten the number of full-time employees belonging to Sejun Company in Vispo has exceeded 10 billion. Sejun Company's influence over Vispo has greatly increased. Sejun Company's influence over Vispo exceeds 70%. Sejun Company merges with Vispo. New infrastructure is being established in Sejun Company. A global communication network has been launched in Sejun Company. From now on, communication is possible between full-time employees of Vispo under Sejun Company. System SJC was once again being upgraded as Sejun Company's influence surged. The number of stamps Theo had made was only in the tens of thousands, yet the number of full-time employees in Vispo exceeded 10 billion. That was due to the unique system of the Kerma Empire. From birth, every citizen of the Kerma Empire was branded with a brand of loyalty to prevent betrayal against the emperor. This was why Puntaro became so enraged upon seeing the stamp on his own son. It was something only branded onto common citizens. In any case, when Theo stamped Puntaro, every resident of the Kerma Empire who had received Puntaro's brand of loyalty was now considered part of Sejun Company. Thus, System SJC upgraded like that, recruiting a proxy guardian deity to manage Vispo. Share 0.5%. Posted a job opening for a proxy guardian deity on the full-time employee communication network. The share was lower than what Sejun offered during hearing, but still manager, seed shop headquarters, god of sprouts, bud me, yay, first. Manager, seed shop headquarters, god of stones, toga me, bud you idiot, it's not first come first served. Manager combat shop headquarters, god of fire, pharaoh, applying. Gods fiercely competed to become the proxy guardian deity of the 6th-level world Vispo. Shortly after, the proxy guardian deity of Vispo is Toga, the god of stones. Manager seed shop headquarters, god of stones, Toga, yes. Manager seed shop headquarters, god of sprouts, bud, but I was first, Koyuyu Anus. Toga, the god of stones, was selected as the proxy guardian deity of Vispo, the treasure vault of the capital Vatan in the Kerma Empire. Hehe, guys, pack it up quickly. Puhu Hut got it, meow. Kaiwat, yes. Kyung. Kaying. Sejun and his group quickly transferred the treasures from the treasure vault into Sejun's void storage. Hey, Vice Chairman Theo, aren't we being too conscientious? Puhu Hut, indeed, meow. Leaving this much treasure behind were just too kind, meow. Sejun and Theo looked at the small pile of least valuable items stacked in the center of the now completely empty treasure vault, feeling proud and praising themselves with satisfied smiles. Well then, we're off. Kyungi, let's go. Kyung. After Sejun quickly escaped from the capital, using Kyungi's telekinesis. My tree Yasuyor. Puntaro's scream could be heard from the capital. Chapter 649. Wasn't I doing a good job? You have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Sejun returned home from the first floor of the Blue Tower. Growl. His stomach growled loudly, demanding food to digest. It was understandable that he was hungry. He hadn't even eaten lunch because he was busy collecting treasures. Earlier, just seeing the treasure was enough to make him feel full, But Sejun was a being who couldn't convert treasure into energy. Hunger belatedly surged in. The guys must be going crazy from hunger. While Sejun hurried to the kitchen to cook. Clang. Pew Hu Hut. Chairman Park, I missed you, meow. Hurry up and serve grilled fish, meow. Kaiwo, I'm hungry. Kyung. Kaying. As the void storage opened, his companions clung to Sejun's back as he ran. And so, Sejun arrived at the kitchen with his companions. Sejun number 12, soy sauce butter egg rice please. He gave instructions to Sejun number 12 and hurriedly grilled fish over open flame while simultaneously roasting peanuts in a frying pan. Kyuiha. In the meantime, Kyungi set the utensils on the table and got ready to eat. Kivihit. Blackie brought over his food bowl, placed it on the floor, and sat in front of it, waiting for Sejun to hurry up and serve the roasted and dried sweet potato. After a short while, "You're hungry, right? Let's eat quickly." At Sejun's words, the group began to eat. Everyone was so hungry that they gobbled down the food. Kivihit. Blackie also ate deliciously. Something doesn't look right. Sejun tilted his head as he looked at Blackie's belly. Lately, he'd been making Blackie exercise, but oddly, the belly was sticking out even more. At that moment, Sejun caught some gazes that said, "We have something to say." Naturally, it was Kaba, Karurur, Shari, and Mubelchill. Compared to the plump Blackie, the four looked extremely thin. The moment Sejun saw the four, he could roughly understand the situation. Is this trickery? As Sejun grew angry upon discovering Blackie's scheme. Killahit Kaying. Hee butler. Blackie, oblivious to the atmosphere, came toddling over with his food bowl. And then, Kaying. Give me more roasted and dried sweet potato. Should I run another 10 laps? Blackie volunteered to run first as he asked for more roasted and dried sweet potato. There was no burden since he had no intention of running himself. Haha, sure. If you run 10 laps, I'll give you some roasted and dried sweet potato. Killahit Kaying. Hee, got it, butler, just wait a little. Blackie quickly began to flap around and get ready to fly. However, Kaba, Karurur, Shari, Mubelchill, come here for a second. Sejun called the subordinates who were supposed to make Blackie fly. Kaying. What? Blackie, go ahead and run. Kaying. Okay. This isn't right. Blackie sensed something was wrong as he ran around, very slowly. He was waiting for his subordinates to arrive. But there was no way Sejun would just let the four go back. Kaba, go check on the brewery. Guys, you know what to do, right? With a subtle wink, Sejun sent Kaba off to the brewery. Karurur, Shari, Mubelchill, have you been properly unsealing the jewels I gave you? To the remaining three, he asked about the progress of unsealing the jewels of fire, water, and wind that he had entrusted them with before, dragging out time. Even though only 10 minutes passed. Kagak. Blackie was already huffing and puffing, sweating profusely. It made sense. It couldn't be easy to run with a belly that had grown thick through trickery. Blackie, why has your speed suddenly dropped compared to before? This seems suspicious. I can't get caught. Suspected by Sejun, Blackie ran with all his might. If he got caught faking it, Sejun would put him on a diet, and that meant fewer roasted and dried sweet potatoes. No, my roasted and dried sweet potatoes. Blackie finally started a proper diet to protect the roasted and dried sweet potato. Kaying. Huff, 10 laps done. When Blackie returned, drenched in sweat. Hugh, look at all that sweat. You need a bath. Good job running. Maintain cleanliness. Sejun praised Blackie for completing the 10 laps and used his skill to wash him. Kirorong. Receiving Sejun's pat, Blackie, without even getting to eat the roasted and dried sweet potato he had longed for, immediately collapsed and fell asleep as if he had passed out. Heh, that's what you get for trying to cheat. Sejun picked up the sleeping Blackie, laid him on the bed, and stepped outside. And then, Puhyuhut. Kyuhiha. After playing with Theo and Kyungi until the sky turned completely dark. Time to go to bed now. He took Kyungi to Pinkfur. Sleep well, Vice Chairman Theo. Puhyuhut, Chairman Park, sleep well too, meow. Sure. Coo. He lay down on the bed and fell asleep. What's going on? Wasn't I doing a good job? System 371 realized something was wrong. Even though it had completely bowed down to Sejun, only the power of System SJC was growing stronger, while its own power continued to diminish. What went wrong? I don't know the reason. System 371 fell into confusion. I need to do something more. If this keeps up, I'm going to be in big trouble. Feeling anxious, it thought up a countermeasure. That's it. Why didn't I think of this earlier? It quickly came up with a plan. I can't just wait. I'll offer it directly. It decided to personally present the system access device to Sejun. Move. Hurry. At System 371's command, the system access device began to slowly move toward the direction of Jormungandr's stomach. And then, Kugugun. Naturally, the massive tier of destruction that had swallowed the system access device also began to move, absorbing the other tiers of destruction in its path and growing larger. This should be enough, right? Now he'll view me favorably, right? System 371 let out a sigh of relief. However, it seemed likely that it would end up being hated by Sejun again. On a pitch-black night when everyone was asleep. Gurgle, gurgle. The massive tier of destruction continued to grow as it absorbed other tiers of destruction. The next morning. All right. Sejun got up. Meow. Kaying. He gathered Theo and the Blackie family and headed to the kitchen, where Sejun number 12 was roasting sweet potatoes over the brazier. Next to it, seaweed soup was boiling in a large pot, and on the table, choco pies were piled up like a mountain. Behind the table, the ingredients for seaweed soup and choco pies were neatly organized and placed. Our Peacebees worked really hard. Around the area, chocolate prints shaped like Peacebees' paw pads were visible. He must have stepped in them while working. Russell. Sejun placed his hand on his left shoulder, Peacebees' favorite spot to find him. Pat pat. He gently stroked Peacebees' head. Peter. He could hear Peacebees giggling faintly. Sejun continued patting Peacebees' head. Cooking. He moved to where the ingredients Peacebees had organized were, and used the cooking master skill to replicate seaweed soup and choco pies. A little while later. Thump thump. Kyung. Good morning, Sejun Nim. Pinkfur arrived, carrying Kyungi in her mouth. Yeah, good morning. Pinkfur, take this and eat. Sejun took Kyungi from her, hung him on his side, and filled Pinkfur's snack pouch with choco pies. Then, after breakfast, he began his daily routine as usual. The other dragons had yet to bring back the land deeds from the first floor of their tower. 119.6. Puhyuhut, Chairman Park, I'll go make lots of money, meow. Kyung. Kyungi will also gather lots of herbs. After sending Theo and Kyungi off to work. Blackie, let's go. Kilahit Kaying. Hee, let's go quickly. He went to work at the 10th tower with Blackie. Clang. Sejun opened the void storage and let the Creator God's tablet absorb the energy of creation. Currently, with approximately 1,000 trillion liters absorbed, it had reached about 10%. And the treasures he received from the Kerma Empire had not been absorbed. Upon thinking it over, he felt it might be good to make a quick trip home. After all, he could replenish money in no time, and it had already been well over half a year since he last visited Earth. He was starting to miss home. Moreover, he had a strange feeling that it might be difficult to return home for a while. While Sejun was lost in thought after opening the void storage. Kilahit Kaying. Everyone, great boss Blackie has returned. As soon as Blackie arrived, he gathered the destruction pioneers and destruction devourers. Killer hit Kang. He, great boss Blackie tricked the butler and he began boasting about how he had deceived Sejun and eaten the roasted and dried sweet potato. Kiki. Kaya. Upon hearing how Blackie tricked Sejun, his subordinates showed signs of disappointment. However, when he told them how he ran 10 laps by himself yesterday, Kiki. Kaya. As expected of our boss, the subordinates began cheering once again. They really like that I ran myself. Then I should keep running hard on my own from now on. Blackie grinned broadly at his subordinates' reaction. Good job, guys. From behind Blackie, Sejun gave a thumbs up to the destruction pioneers and destruction devourers. After motivating Blackie like that, Pook, you're afield. Master has activated. You have planted a destruction pioneer seed in the body of Kraken, the seed-devouring monster and 6th seat of the Apostle of Destruction. After planting the accumulated destruction pioneer and destruction devourer seeds, Blackie, let's go home. Sejun returned to the Black Tower. And then, Kyungi, who had finished work early, welcomed Sejun. It was in preparation to capture destruction Sejun from within Jormungandr's stomach. In Kyungi's absence, the Kyungi's herb squad had been tending to the herb garden diligently. Yangbun, who had become somewhat dazed due to the Blackie family, had also regained his broken mentality and joined the Kyungi's herb squad. Of course, whenever things got too hot, Kyungi or Pinkfur would cool him down, so he was a less overheated Yangbun. Let's eat. Kyung. Kaying. Sejun had a simple lunch with Kyungi and Blackie, then moved through the dimensional gate to Jormungandr's stomach. White Tower, 53rd floor. A city ruled by the nine-tailed fox Iriel, the snow-white legendary merchant. The city, where she had erected a tower symbolizing her 9 tails, was called Nine Tower. Pew hut, I shall now begin the auction, meow. Theo shouted from the podium in the central plaza of Nine Tower. And then, Waya. Merchants who had been waiting for Theo's auction cheered from below the platform. And Hugh hut. Such a capable legendary merchant. He's more than fitting to be my mate. Iriel smiled as she looked down at Theo from the highest floor of the tower. A legendary merchant whom the great white dragon listens to. Just for that alone, he practically held absolute power within the White Tower. After the auction, I'll seduce him by suggesting we have a drink together. Iriel planned to seduce Theo. It was fortunate that Iona wasn't around. If Iona had known Iriel was planning to flirt with Theo, Iriel and the entire Nine Tower would have been erased from existence. As the auction was proceeding, meow. Theo suddenly felt a tingling sensation all over his body. Tremble, tremble, tremble. At the same time, his whiskers trembled violently. This is dangerous, meow. Chairman Park is in danger, meow. Theo, Sejun Knee Detector, was warning him that Sejun was in serious danger. That's it for today, meow. Theo rushed to Sejun immediately. Swish. Sejun crossed the dimensional gate first and surveyed the surroundings. Nothing. Seeing that not a single tier of destruction had entered, Sejun felt disappointed. Kyung. Kaying. In the meantime, Kyungi and the Blackie family followed behind. A moment later. All right, fart ship launch. Yes, going full power. Be Wong. With the loud and rich sound of a fart from Fart Captain Cabolto, Jormungandr's body began to move. Ah, that feels good. Cabolto didn't seem very embarrassed about it anymore. Kyungi, let's go. Kyung. Sejun exited Jormungandr's body with Kyungi and said, Kyungi that. Kyung. Twitch. Just as he was about to capture destruction Sejun and put him to work. Sejun Nim, something's wrong. The tier of destruction is way too big. Cabolto urgently called out to Sejun. And then, why is it so close? Sejun noticed that the giant tear of destruction was much closer than he had expected, and it had grown even bigger. He had a bad feeling. Though Sejun was getting closer to the massive tear of destruction he had wanted so badly. Retreat. He decided to flee. But Sejun Nim discovered. Move the system access device faster. System 371, having located Sejun, accelerated to deliver the system access device to him, and before he knew it, Sejun was within the replication range of the massive tear of destruction. Slash. The giant tear of destruction began transforming into Sejun's appearance. Chapter 650, doesn't matter, it's still me. Outskirts of destruction. The appearance of ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun. Tremble. Sejun trembled in fear as he looked at the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun. It was a situation where fainting wouldn't be strange at all, but... Get a grip, Park Sejun. I can't lose to myself. He desperately held on to avoid fainting at that moment. Whoosh! The ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun swung his arm. Kyung. Dad, it's dangerous. Dangerous? What is? Kyungi, sensing a danger that Sejun hadn't noticed, hurriedly pulled Sejun toward himself. At that moment, Kwagwagwang, the spot where Sejun had just been standing, exploded. Ultra-gigantic destruction, Sejun had fired a massive red aura at Sejun. Fortunately, the nearby energy of creation blocked the attack, so the explosion wasn't too large. Instead, part of the energy of creation that had spread in a spherical shape disappeared, as if someone had taken a big bite out of it. It would take time to refill the energy of creation. Looking at the vanished energy of creation, Sejun grew anxious. If the next attack landed in the same spot, it would be over. No, why is that thing suddenly moving? Kabuto, get some distance. As Sejun furiously tried to tell Kabuto to put some distance between them and the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun. Whoosh! The ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun fired the red aura again. And then, gurg! Kabuto burped instead of farting, releasing the energy of creation. Kwagwagwang! And blocked the aura. Kabuto, nice. Having his attacks blocked twice, the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun seemed displeased and began to move toward them himself. Kabuto increased distance at full speed. This body burps to shoot breath and farts to gain propulsion. Pipubububung. Kabuto farted with such strength it was almost concerning, putting distance between them and the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun. And then, Hwararuru. Perhaps interpreting Kabuto's action as provocation, the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun grew angry, and the surroundings began to burn. At the same time, a spherical wall of flames was created around them. Sejun's skills Fire Field and Greenhouse were used simultaneously. That can be used like that. Unlike when Sejun used it, it looked cool and powerful. Sejun felt a bit wronged seeing his own skills used by the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun. This is nice. But contrary to the feeling of injustice, his body felt cozy due to the surrounding flames. Because of title, reborn from flames, rather the fire only brought Sejun's body to its optimal state. Seeing that his attacks weren't working, the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun changed tactics again. The flames disappeared, and dark clouds began to form. It was the rain-thunder skill. Of course, the power was worlds apart. Swoosh! Acidic rain that melted everything it touched poured down, and Chieko. The energy of creation was slowly being corroded by the rain, and the area was shrinking. Kwagwagwang. Next, a red lightning bolt fell that looked like it should never be touched. The red lightning split the energy of creation like an axe, both narrowly and deeply, reaching all the way to Jormungandr's body. KRGH, Sejun Nim, I can only withstand it 5 more times. Kabuto hurriedly reported his condition to Sejun. 5 times. This was bad. Kyungi inside. Kyung. Sejun entered inside Jormungandr's body with Kyungi. Summon door. Thud. He summoned a gate to the 10th floor of the tower. Clang. Guys, come out. Sejun hurriedly opened the gate and called out the destruction devourers from the 10th floor. Kiki. The destruction devourers came out of the gate and joined in. Chomp chomp. Thanks to that, the production rate of the energy of creation greatly increased. Pipububung. Kabolto was able to gain even more propulsion. After bringing the destruction devourers to join and increasing Kabolto's fart power, Sejun. Kyungi back outside. Kyung came back outside with Kyungi. Pook pook pook, you're afield. Master has activated. You have planted the sky-reaching bean on the body of Jormungandr, the world-devouring serpent and third seat of the Apostle of Destruction. He began planting the sky-reaching beans on top of Jormungandr's body. This should let them endure a few more times. It was to reduce the impact by wrapping Jormungandr's body in the bean stalks. And in case Jormungandr's body disappeared after exhausting its vitality, it was also to create a place to stand. Creak. The sky-reaching beans rapidly grew as they absorbed Jormungandr's vitality. Quagwagwang. Meanwhile, a red lightning bolt fell. Kyung and Kyungi, whose abilities had been amplified 16 times after eating the bean set, created lightning to block it. How many times do you think you can endure, Kyungi? Kyungi can endure 20 times. Kyungi, don't push yourself too hard, got it? Kyung. Got it. Upon hearing Kyungi's reply. Drip, drip, drip. Sejun dropped 30 drops of the harvest elixir onto the beans he had planted. Hell Nim, thanks to you, I'm using this well. Hell had asked Theo if he needed more harvest elixir in order to increase her welfare points. Pewhue Hut, Chairman Park, do you need more harvest elixir, meow? The more elixirs the better. Pewhue Hut, got it, meow. Hell Nim, give me the harvest elixirs whenever they're made, meow. After hearing Sejun's answer, Theo asked Hell to give him the harvest elixirs whenever they were created. And then a designated quest, repeatable, from Sejun Company's Vice Chairman Park Theo has been triggered. The designated subject is Hell, the god of merchants. Hehe, just as planned. Thanks to Hell accepting the repeatable quest and diligently completing it, Sejun was able to collect quite a lot of harvest elixir. Creak. Thus, the sky-reaching beans absorbed the harvest elixir and grew rapidly upward. He thought they would continue growing in a straight line, but perhaps because of the acid rain created by ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun, they couldn't grow upright. Instead, they kept growing and started extending their stalks sideways within the area filled with the energy of creation. In this way, 20 sky-reaching beans extended their stalks in all directions to form a perimeter. Creak. And the remaining beans, which were growing slowly, supported from below, while a massive planet made of plants was being created. Whoosh! The ultra-gigantic destruction, Sejun, chased after them with even aura attacks. Full speed. Pipububung. Kabolto ran away with all his might. Occasionally, the aura grazed the tree stalks and broke them. Creak! But other stalks quickly filled in the gaps. What are they doing? Are they playing? As they say, a tragedy up close, a comedy from afar. They sure look like they're having fun. Did Sejun get an ability to grow now too? Or maybe Theo made something again like Santa Sejun. The great dragons, who had gone out hunting, watched the chase between ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun and Kabolto from about 0.2 light-years away with amusement. So many unexplainable things always happened around Sejun that the dragons never thought Sejun might be in danger. Before they realized it, Sejun's family had gained the trust of the great dragons. Whether that was a good thing or not, who knows? How should I deal with that guy? Once he had managed to maintain some distance from the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun, Sejun began to think about how to strategize against him. At the very least, stalling for time like this seemed to be weakening him. Kabolto's farts were the energy of creation. For the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun, who followed behind, it was like inhaling toxic gas. The more he followed, the more his strength naturally diminished. Should I just keep stalling like this? Just as Sejun was considering, continuing to stall and observe the situation. Brrrrrrrrr. The tears of destruction surrounding ultra-gigantic destruction, Sejun began to tremble. It was the result of the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun's fury toward Kabolto, who was provoking him and running away. The nearby tears of destruction were resonating with that fury. Squelch. The tears of destruction, resonating with the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun's rage, merged with him and lent him their power. And then, squelch squelch. As more tears of destruction joined, the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun's body grew even larger and stronger. 119:16. The ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun absorbed the surrounding tears of destruction while chasing Kabolto. Why is it getting bigger? By the time Sejun sensed something was off, it was already too late. Kugagung. Having absorbed a massive amount of tears of destruction, the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun evolved into ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun. Crag. Space itself screamed, unable to withstand the overwhelming presence of the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun. Kyung. Dad, it's dangerous. Kyungi hurriedly stood in front of Sejun to protect him. But I can't faint like this. Sejun began to lose consciousness under the overwhelming presence. Just then, smack. Hut, Chairman Park snap out of it, meow, I'm back, meow. Kaiwat, I'm here too. Theo, with Iona hanging from his tail, appeared and used healing magic while slapping Sejun's cheek. For some reason, Theo always healed by hitting the face. Thanks to the slap, Sejun quickly came to his senses. This little punk. His anger instantly brought him back to full awareness. Meanwhile, you have defeated Jormungandr, the world-devouring serpent and third seat of the Apostle of Destruction. You have gained 6.7 trillion experience points. You have leveled up. You have gained 1 bonus stat. Strength has increased by 30. Strength potential has increased by 1%. Jormungandr's body, having exhausted its vitality, vanished. Kaying. Butler, we're here. The Blackie family also came running to Sejun. Thus, the entire Sejun family gathered. Iona, teleport us to that guy's head. Kaiwat, okay. Now together with his companions, Sejun's fear disappeared, and he asked Iona for teleportation magic. Payet. They appeared on top of the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun's head. And then, thud squish step. I'm counting on you guys. Hut, fake super giant Chairman Park number 2, give him a beating, meow. Kaiwat, I just want to get this over with and rest. Kwang Kekung. Kyungi will punish the bad fake dad. Hit fake butler, the great Blackie will punish you. The Sejun family headbutted the crown of the ultra-gigantic destruction Sejun, invading his mental world. Ultra-gigantic destruction, Sejun's mental world. The shape was similar to Sejun's own mental world, but the contents were completely different. The land where there should have been a field was desolate, and instead of a blue river, scorching lava that looked like it could melt anything flowed. The stars that had fallen from the sky had turned into monsters. It's completely ruined. As Sejun lamented the scene. Thump. Smack. Great hybrid Chairman Park, I missed you, meow. Theo appeared with super giant Chairman Park number 2 and clung to Sejun's knee. Kaiwat. Hello, Sejun Nim. The enormous Iona and the slightly smaller Nightmare than Iona greeted Sejun. Apparently, Iona's mental strength had grown significantly, and her size had surpassed that of Nightmare. I've grown too. As Sejun gloomily glanced at Nightmare, who was still much larger than himself. Thump thump. Kyungi is here. Butler, the great Blackie will give you a ride. Get on. The massive Kyungi and the Blackie family also rushed in. Well, seeing his companions, Sejun's chest unknowingly swelled with pride. At that moment, thump thump. Welcome, it's me. Destruction Sejun, shrouded in a red aura, stood up, an enormous size occupying half of the mental world. Sejun and his companions were all rendered speechless, overwhelmed by the immense power and size. At that moment, Fwalar, when Sejun's gaze, imbued with the primordial power, landed on Destruction Sejun, flames ignited on Destruction Sejun's body. Ahut! Destruction Sejun flailed in panic and frantically put out the fire. The law of unchanging nature. No matter how strong he became, his essential nature seemed unchanged. Seeing Destruction Sejun like that, Sejun and his companions came to a realization. He doesn't matter, it's still me. Pew hut. The opponent is a fake Chairman Park imitating the real one, meow. Kaiwat. Sejun Nim, he's just a copy. Dad is weak, so of course the fake dad is weak too. Hit, the butler can never beat the great Blackie. That the opponent was a copy of Sejun. Thanks to that, smiles spread across the faces of Sejun and his companions, and their morale soared. And then, Kugagung. I'm closer to the original. Super Giant Chairman Park number 2, not to be outdone by Destruction Sejun, also increased in size.